Let's rock and roll. What is ripping? I am Gabe Morency. Let's do this thing. Welcome to the late night anger management class as the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints wind down the first of two Monday nighters this evening. We'll be kicking it with you tonight throughout the Chargers and the Broncos game. Now, listen, we're scheduled to be on until about midnight. Or so, midnight Eastern. But with this football game going on, I think it'd be a little bit awkward to leave if there's like 8 minutes left or something like that. So we'll see how the night goes, and we'll see how my bets go. Because if the bets aren't going well, then I might just shut things down once and for all. It was a fucking bloodbath over the weekend. Yet I'll tell you what, I am somebody that's happy about this late New Orleans touchdown as the game creeps over the number, depending on when and where you bet it. And that's always a key, and that's why it's always good to have as many options as possible. So we appreciate everybody tuning in with us here this evening. We've got a great guest. We had a great first week last week. A lot of fun, great times last night on the Betcast with Big Men on Campus. And I got to tell you, man, the Big Men on Campus, he's, he's like an ice cream. He's like a sundae. He's like an ice cream cone. Big Man on Campus is like he's like a cute puppy. How can you not like him? It's like Jerry Seinfeld's mother says. How can anybody not like you? I don't know. If you don't like the Big Man on Campus, then you know what? There's something wrong with you. All right, there's something wrong with you. So, and I'll tell you, the Big Man on Campus is actually all fired up. If you don't like the Big Man, he's fired up this evening about this football game, and I think he had the under actually too. So he might check in a little bit later on, a little bit of a surprise. But without further ado, let's bring in our first guest in the program as this football game is officially over. 29-19 final score. Mike Zimmer improves to 29-7 against the spread against non-division opponents. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. One of the best coaches in the league. Right, there's one of the best handicappers in the business, and analysts and writers. You read them on a daily basis over at SBR.com. The one and only Dave Morency, the author of Vegas Point Blank, steps up and joins us. Dave, always a pleasure. How you doing?
Gabe, how long have we been doing this? I was trying to remember what was the first time, because it's been a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I would say my guess is probably about 14 years, Dave, believe it or not. I've been doing this.
Montreal, right?
Yeah, you know what? I've been doing it this is my 16th year, and you came into the mix pretty early due to some of our mutual friends, so to speak, specifically, Scott K. Scott K, of course, over at the time was with Bowman's, which no longer exists, and Gary Bowman himself. Gary Bowman was my first sponsor, Dave. A radio show. I contacted Bowman and Gary Bowman and through Steve Rapp at the time. And I said, listen, guys, I've been a long-time patron of your sportsbook, and I'm starting a radio show. And I wonder if you guys want to be one of the sponsors. They listened to the show, and they hopped in and said yes. So, it's been a long time. But I think, Dave, it's been at least 13, 14 years.
I've always been a huge fan of Gary Bowman because, if nothing else, two things. One, he really helped pave the way for so many things that you and I and our listeners do every day. But two, he got Scott K to live in Mauritius for a couple of years. Now, when people talk about the end of the world, okay, because people joke about a lot of different places, Mauritius might be the end of the world because you can't get anywhere from there. When you talk about total isolation, but Scott gutted it out. Had a good career now, living pretty well down in Jamaica, but one of the best guys, that I've ever known from this industry.
That's the beautiful thing about the sportsbook game, right? You live in all the exotic locations. I actually had to call a book in Mauritius the other night, and I was wondering, damn, they're not answering the phone. Then I realized maybe they're in the eye of this Hurricane Irma, actually. That's actually happened before. I remember in the old days at Bowman's, they used to get knocked off because of weather often.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was in Costa Rica to meet with some of the SBR guys back in May, had breakfast with a long-time sportsbook guy. And we joked about the old days because, even San Jose, Costa Rica, there were things going on back in the mid-'90s. I said, do you remember the days when you went into the office and if there was a dial tone, it was a win for the team? Now, you were just in San Jose, Gabe. Look at what the sportsbook industry did for that city. All of the telecommunications that got put in would not have happened if it hadn't been for the sportsbook people. San Jose is actually one of the more telecommunication advanced cities, in the Americas right now because of us.
I got to tell you, I think my internet connection, it's a fact. The internet connection in my hotel room in Costa Rica was better than it was at Palace Station in Vegas.
Now, here's something we could say about the sportsbook people, though, they've got to deal with tonight. Because a lot of guys like Scott K at this moment aren't very happy. You said that you won your over on the New Orleans game. A bunch of us won our under on the Saints. 48 was a bad number for that first game to fall tonight.
Yeah, it was. And I got it at 47.5. And yeah, Dave, I don't know if you have a headset, actually. I know you do because we talked earlier in the day. Might be better because we're getting a little echo. It's the old caller. You got to turn your radio down deal we have going on. Do you have headphones or a headset you can put on?
Yeah, give me 20 seconds.
All right, good stuff. All right, Dave Malinsky's just going to. I was wondering. I thought it was me. I swear, guys. I'm looking at my computer and I'm like, where the fuck is that noise coming from? And I realized I'm like, oh yeah, Dave's on a speaker. And he asked us before. He said it's all right like this. I didn't really realize. I'm like, I didn't think it'd be noise in the background, but we'll get that Dave Malinsky back on. And yeah,
it's our first week. We'll get this mastered. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I felt like Larry King. Turn your TV down, please. Caller, Larry, I love you. What's the question, Larry? So as you stated, Dave, I always say this: depending on when and where you bet it, depends on the number where you got it here this evening. 47.5 at kickoff tonight. This game was a field goal fest, and under bettors were feeling pretty good about themselves, but it caught up.
Yeah, there was a little more steam in Nevada than in other parts of the world, and it's because I saw the Westgate, one of our better shops. They closed at 46.5. CGT, a good shop, closed at 47. Didn't see much of that offshore. The problem for the books is, of course, the sharps were betting the 48.5 and the 49 early. Then at kickoff, here comes the public, and you allowed the public to go over 47.5. So the guys that wanted to go favorite and over, they got one in their pockets tonight.
Opening kickoff, getting your picks.
Dave Malinsky's with us. Now we got another sound, and I think it's our boy Zach. I just sent him a message. We got Zach Jones from SBR in the background, and I'm like, "Where's that noise coming from?" I can hear it. You're so loud playing guitar, Zach. We can hear you. We can hear you all the way here in Toronto. Right now, can you hear the guitar playing, Dave?
I can, and in truth, it's not very good. I expected more out of Zach. We spent a lot of time talking about guitar players when we're supposed to be doing sports work during the day. I know Zach has good taste in music. I'm not so sure Zach has good taste playing music.
No, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. I think he probably is pretty good, but I swear it was driving me motherfucking crazy. I apologize to everyone. It starts off with Dave. We got the echo. I'm looking at my computer, and listen, I do this every day for a living, man, so I hear everything. And then I hear this, like, music in the background, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I remembered I was talking to Zach earlier in the night, and and Zach was playing guitar, and I think he's got the Google Hangout on in the background. Here's Zach. Turn down your amp, Zach. Holy fuck. All right, Dave, it was, I guess like you said, first appearance, Dave. What else can happen right now? Is my ceiling going to crash?
Let's get to work, Gabe, because here's the big thing. We talk about anger management. We talk about sports rage. We're going to make you be the classic example tonight. Okay, you weren't too happy with yesterday's results, but where are you right now? Are you still thinking about yesterday's results, or are you on to week 2?
I don't know if it's I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I never felt so little emotion after losing last night. And I lost about a dime yesterday, Dave. I was distraught. I was more upset about the poor performance in the Super Contest than I was in real life for some reason. But although I was frustrated, and I do loathe Andy Dalton, and I will forever, and we'll get to him in a minute. No, I shook it off. You know what? I like the Minnesota Vikings tonight, and I lost a dime last night, so I figured, you know what? Let's just chip away. We can get $250 of it back with the Minnesota Vikings. Roll into the nightcap, and you lose a dime. It's a marathon, not a sprint, like you always say, Dave. So lose a dime last night. If I can get a nickel back tonight, I'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah, I think the disappointment for me tonight in watching Saints Vikings. If folks go back to something we wrote about Minnesota about a month ago, we did a team-by-team run through the NFL looking for one inside take on each team. With the Vikings, the focus point was, you know what? If you go back and rework 2016, Sam Bradford was really good. The offense wasn't. So if you just look at the Minnesota offensive performance, you don't see it. But if you isolate how bad the offensive line was, how bad the running game was, a historically low yards per carry, Sam Bradford threw the hell out of the ball. In fact, if you look at NFL passers on balls more than 20 yards down the field, he was number 4 in the entire NFL last year. So ideally, we want to think, okay, at some point, maybe we can use this in the season. We're not going to be able to use it after tonight. Now the whole world saw Bradford possibly play the best game of his career. We're going to see the official charting later, but having watched the game, I charted Bradford as having thrown one bad pass the entire night. These are the things we would have liked to have kept under the radar for a little longer.
Deadly accurate. He set an NFL record last year, completing over 71% of his passes. Deadly accurate this evening, 27 to 32 for 346 yards. I told people, and I had a couple of people sort of scoff under their breath. I heard them. I work at a fantasy sports network. I said, watch, Dalvin Cook will put up he'll do the similar thing and put up similar numbers to what Kareem Hunt did the other night. New dynamic athletic playmakers. And, the Minnesota Vikings offense, very similar to the Kansas City Chiefs offense in past years. A lot of dinking and dunking, lacking that explosive playmaker and big playability. And we see Kareem Hunt brings that to the table right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we saw Dalvin Cook started off a little slow, ended up 22 carries, 127 yards, 5 receptions, three receptions on 5 targets. Only 10 yards, but still 137 total yards. So, Dave, quickly on this, just because the game's kicking off in about 3-4 minutes, the anthem's going on right now, and I hope people don't hate me. I'm not kneeling, but I'm sitting. So, what's your take on this one? The L.A. Chargers. The L.A. Chargers take on the Denver Broncos, and I guess the odds makers really think it's a new Chargers team because the number's only 3 here. I guess it's the Trevor Siemian factor, Dave. Normally, the Chargers get 6 in this football game every year when they go up here to the Mile High City. Tonight, only laying 3. Right now, the number is 41.5. What's your take?
Something that no one expected to see happen in Nevada is happening right now. The game has moved off the 3. I see the South Point has just gone to 2.5. So there is a lot of Chargers money showing up. No one expected to get off the 3. They thought they were going to move the money a little bit, but not to open that door. That's something I am going to take a little advantage of. Not a huge Denver backer here, but 2.5. It just makes a lot of sense. And let's talk about something from Warren Sharp, one of the smartest guys out there in the NFL. It's talked about this Denver home field advantage the first 2 weeks of the season. The altitude meaning more now than later because the opposition isn't in shape. And guess what? Of all teams, the Chargers went out of their way to not be in shape this year. They had so many injuries last year. They had a mild training camp. Lynn did not have the starters out there much at all in the preseason. Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers will make some plays early. I think he can take advantage of T.J. Ward not being in that Denver back line. But in the second half, does San Diego possibly get gas? So I got a small Denver 2.5, just went into pocket. But as the game goes on, I may pick up some more Broncos in running if it lays out the right way. And we'll be talking about that play-by-play.
Dave, we often talk about media perception and mainstream media perception and using it to your advantage in the sports betting markets. And there's been a lot of positive hype around this Chargers team in the mainstream media. Skip Bayless picks the Chargers to win the division. And, I don't know if Skip Bayless means anything that he says, but he's not the only one. I had Steve Merrill on today. Steve Merrill's a smart guy. Steve Merrill said he thinks the Chargers are the best team in this division. And I'm sitting here on the other side of that equation thinking that they're not the best team in this division, that they're the same old Chargers. They are who we thought they were. And I think that's almost the theme coming into tonight's football game from yesterday, actually. And Dennis Green, may rest in peace. We are who they thought they were. You look at these teams. So you get the Chargers. I'm not so sure Anthony Lynn should be a head coach, Dave. The guy started the season last year as the running backs coach for the Buffalo Bills. And then Rex Ryan, fires Roman. He gets the offensive coordinator gig. They basically run the ball every play. There's nothing creative about it. Rex Ryan gets fired. He's a head coach for one game, gets his ass handed to him by the Jets. And here we are right now, and he's the coach of the Chargers. So, we'll see. And then we got a rookie coach on the other side here with Vance Joseph. What do you make of the coaching matchup tonight?
Maybe the most important coach is a guy we haven't talked about, Mike McCoy. McCoy, the new Denver offensive coordinator. No, we don't think much of Trevor Siemian, but who knows the Charger personnel better than anybody? Mike McCoy. Yeah. When you get fired by a team and you find out real quickly in the offseason that your first game as a new offense coordinator is against the team that fired you, you get that little extra adrenaline going. McCoy is a real creative offensive mind because he's made several different systems work. Now he's got limitations with Siemian. Your playbook can't get too deep, but I think he can be effective in terms of game planning tonight. I'm not sold on Lynn, but at least Lynn doesn't have to coach the offense. Phillip Rivers is the Chargers offensive coordinator. They'll be able to handle that. The reason why people like the Chargers as a sleeper, an unbelievable rash of injuries in the McCoy era. All four of McCoy's seasons, San Diego in the bottom 5 in the NFL in player games lost to injury. Over the course of the 4 years, no team lost more than they did. So the Chargers weren't that far away if they had stayed healthy. The problem this year, they've already got injury problems. You won't have Mike Williams at receiver for a while. Perryman was lost at middle linebacker already. So it's been that same old bugaboo. So the Chargers personnel front line is as good as Denver, is as good as Kansas City. They just haven't been able to stay healthy.
To me, an X factor in this football game will be how the San Diego Chargers handle the Denver Broncos ground attack. It's pretty clear, that the Denver Broncos, they don't want to throw the football. They don't want to throw the football a million times here this evening. I'm just trying to get a prop in here before kickoff, and I have time to do it. I got to click quickly.
You do your prop.
Jamal Charles. I'm going Jamal Charles, Dave. Over 39 and a half total rushing receiving yards. Charles is the number 2 back here. He's going to get his opportunities. And damn, they're kicking off right now. I got to get my long field goal prop in here. Over 44 and a half in the altitude. And let's get this bet in, and that bet is in. Wow, getting these bets in real late here. So Denver Broncos getting the ball first. Trevor Siemian. Our boy, a friend of ours, actually was doing Uber Eats in Denver. He delivered a pizza to Trevor Siemian. And I said, was he a nice guy? I said, yeah, he's a really nice guy. I said, how much did he tip you? He goes, $5. And I was a little disappointed, but like my friend said, he goes, he only makes like $450,000 a year, so I guess $5 tip isn't that bad.
Yeah, Siemian's not a big payday guy yet. Not a big payday guy just yet.
I don't know. You're an NFL quarterback. Shouldn't you be tipping $10, $20 at least?
It depends on what time of training camp that pizza order was placed, because Siemian wasn't guaranteed the starting job literally till they got towards the end of camp. Siemian is the type of guy who can be a game manager if he has really good players around him. Denver doesn't quite have that. He does, though. I believe McCoy is a top 5 NFL offensive coordinator. So Siemian at least has that to work with, but he just doesn't have those A levels at the other skill spots.
And he opens up with a pass to Demaryius Thomas. And it's funny, too. I said, did Siemian live in a nice condo? Nice place? And my buddy goes, no, your condo in Vegas was nicer than his place, because lives in a little, I went in even. My buddy went in at Siemian's place. It's funny because little people know the guy that was in there is a big bettor too. So it's just funny. big card counting bettor from Vegas, Dave, is in Trevor Siemian's kitchen giving him a pizza. It's a crazy world. So Siemian opens up pretty crisply here with a couple of opening passes. Listen, I'm okay with Siemian. You know, I think he can be okay. You talk about him being a game manager, you're right. They just don't need him to make mistakes. And as I was saying, C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson's a big-time player, Dave. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. You know, you look last year, they really struggled. There was no, one of their line struggled, but C.J. Anderson was out. And C.J. Anderson, when they won the Super Bowl, monster plays in the Super Bowl, big plays in the playoffs, big plays that year to help them get to the Super Bowl. And now you got a healthy C.J. Anderson in the backfield. I think it's going to make a big difference for them.
It is, because there's a lot of versatility to work with. And here's where I think McCoy can be such a big factor this year. Denver can run 2 back sets. They can run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They can go to 3 wideouts. Denver has a lot of versatility in that roster. Not necessarily the Pro Bowlers out there, but pieces that you can fit around. The question is, how long does it take to fit those pieces? And that's one of the things we'll look for early with Denver, offensive chemistry. One of the concerns we have with teams that had a quarterback battle in camp is that neither one of the guys gets enough reps with the first team. So sometimes it takes a little longer for that chemistry to develop. That's what we're going to look to see. Will Denver have a plan? Will they be crisp in what they want to do? I think McCoy's got a chance to be okay with them, but it may take a little time for it to happen.
It's amazing how the numbers change even after a couple of plays in a football game. Broncos now only minus 130 on the money line, coming up with a 3rd and 8 situation coming up here, and the total is sitting at 40.5 already. So Trevor Siemian back to pass in the shotgun at a 3rd and 8 setting. And we'll see what happens on this play. We'll start to take a look at some of the numbers for week 2. Siemian back to pass. No. Good coverage. Good coverage, good defense by the San Diego Chargers and the Denver Broncos, who will be punting on their first drive of the season. All right, Dave, so let's jump in. You wanted to do Monday night so we could take a first look and do a sneak peek look ahead of the big games and all the National Football League games coming up in the following week. So let's start off right now.
Let's start out with this first series for San Diego, because there's a big talking point we want to get in play. And one of the things we'll emphasize with people is getting your fundamental understandings of each team planted as the season starts. Here's what we want to look at with Denver. You can make a case the last 2 seasons that the Denver pass defense was the best in NFL history. Now, when we talk about things like that, it sounds extreme, but we have a lot of ways of doing the models. One is you measure how did a team perform compared to league average, and how did a team perform compared to the number 2 team in the league. And Denver was so far above and beyond in pass defense. And in 2016 and 2017, pass defense is the most important part of the sport. But that was with TJ Ward. Now we're going to see, is there a vulnerability there? I understand why they let Ward go. This was going to be his last year of the contract. They knew they weren't going to be able to re-sign him. So they said, okay, let's go ahead and make the transition now. We like Justin Simmons. It's mostly a special teams player last year. We think he's going to be ready eventually. Well, you know what? Let's get him ready right now. So let's see if Phillip Rivers might be aggressive in attacking Simmons right off the bat tonight. So one of the first things I'm going to do with Denver, and we'll talk about this team by team, how we're grading teams early. I'm going to look at this Denver defense compared to what we've seen the last 2 years. How much of a downgrade might we have to make? That was a special group they had the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's a good point for you, Rays. There are a lot of new faces and new personnel in the Denver defense lexicon right now. A couple of interesting in-game props we see up here. Phillip Rivers, total yards against Trevor Siemian. Phillip Rivers minus 18.5 yards. Other player props, receiving yards. Demaryius Thomas minus 5.5 against Keenan Allen. We've got a rushing yard prop here as well. Melvin Gordon in-game, minus 14.5 versus C.J. Anderson. All right, Dave, so we'll keep our eye on this Chargers first drive here. But Thursday night football, what a train wreck. And we have 2 teams in the exact similar situations that the loser of this football game is really, the coach of the loser of this team is going to be in a hot seat after this, Dave. There's going to be a lot of pressure The pressure's going to mount for A.J. McCarron, and they're going to have to do something about Andy Dalton. It's amazing. I've defended Andy Dalton in the past, but I just can't do it anymore. And, he's a good kid, Dave. He's a good guy, so I feel bad ripping him, but whatever, man. The guy that walked in front of Christian Bale's light was a good guy, Bruce, too. And for fuck's sakes, man, you're amateur. But he single-handedly cost them that football game yesterday. He had his quarterback rating of 0.6. It was the third worst quarterback rating in the history of the National Football League. It was that bad. It's repeated, though. To me, Dave, it was almost like leaving a pitcher in that's given up 13 runs in a game, or a hockey goalie that's given up 9 goals. At some point, for the good of the player, you need to take him out of the football game. And for the love of God, I don't know why Marvin Lewis didn't do that yesterday.
I think a lot of it was the fact that they play on Thursday. He wanted Dalton to make something good happen. So wanted him to walk off the field with a little bit of confidence.
Never happened. Never happened.
I'll tell you the issue with the Bengals is we set them up for their season. Okay, last year they had injuries in the skill positions, so things didn't play out the way they wanted to. This year, the skill people are healthy, but you know what? That offensive line, in fact, this Thursday night, we got 2 of the worst offensive lines in the league going head-to-head here. But how about this? After arguably the worst Sunday of action in terms of quality in a long time, what did they get Thursday? Let's chart these 2 offenses. Bengals and Texans yesterday, 1 touchdown, no field goals, 15 sacks, and 9 turnovers. That's collectively just about as bad gets. The Cincinnati offensive line isn't correctable. They're going to have to get the ball out quick in the passing game to make things happen. They're going to have to be able to run some draw plays, run some misdirection. But the Bengals are not going to line up and block people this year. It was a fear going into the season. After yesterday's game, that's a major fear now.
So they get the Houston Texans, a football team that a lot of people had in the survivor pools. The Jacksonville Jaguars were heavily criticized throughout the preseason. Blake Bortles, they wanted to bench Blake Bortles, but the fact was that Chad Henne wasn't good enough to take the job from Blake Bortles. But, the Jags do have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the football. They've got some talent on the offensive side of the football. But it's amazing. They lose Robinson. They still win the game. They sack the Houston Texans quarterbacks 10 freaking times. And now the Texans roll in. And as I stated, Bill O'Brien, Texans have too much talent to be a 9-7 team every year. And so what do you make of this? We have 2 teams in similar situations that humiliated themselves in week 1. And I don't want to start getting into numbers and talking playoffs already, Dave, but the fact of the matter is teams that go 0-2 rarely make the playoffs in the National Football League. And we'll start to hear that stat next week.
Well, if you're the Bengals and you open 0-2 at home, you're done. And you hate to say anybody's done after 2 games. No, you are done. If you're the Texans, you open up 0-2, you're okay because 8-8 might get you in the playoffs. And 9-7 wins that division. 8-8 might win it. But now Bill O'Brien's got a decision to make. You talk about how bad Dalton's numbers were. Savage's numbers might have been worse if he had played longer.
But was it Savage's fault, Dave, because of the pressure? What was it? What was it his fault? I don't know if Joe Montana was back there, if he would have been able to deal with it.
Well, at Joe's age, it would be a little problem. Joe's getting up there now. I know Joe's my age. One of the best interviews I ever had when I was a young college sports writer, before I got into gambling and all the degeneracy. And this is a classic. When you talk about how humble people are and what happens in life, there's a banquet for Joe Montana because he went to Ringgold High School that was down the river from the paper I worked at, had a banquet at a Holiday Inn in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. And this is a couple weeks before the draft. And Montana's so humble because he doesn't know what his future is going to be. Remember, Joe Montana was not a high draft pick.
Yeah.
He had no guarantee that he was going to make it at all in the NFL.
Just like Tom Brady.
Yeah, he was so humble about what am I going to do? And of course he goes, Dave, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a sports writer all your life?
He asked you. He even asked you, huh?
Well, we're the same age. We're sort of hanging out. And I should have said, no, Joe, I'm going to become a degenerate gambler. I see the best in you. I'm going to ride you for a lot of money in the years to come. But it was a great night. Got to talk to Montana. Got to talk to, Dan Devine. But in terms of what happens this week with Houston, O'Brien's got a tough call to make. One, I don't think they get Dwayne Brown signed and on the field by Thursday. You saw what happened yesterday with Adam Savage, drop back the pass 19 times. They produced 29 yards out of those 19 dropbacks. When we say dropbacks, I will say that instead of pass attempts because that factors the sacks in. So they averaged about 1.5 yards per dropback. Okay, you know Deshaun Watson is your future because you know Savage probably isn't. Savage is now up to 105 career passes without a touchdown, which is kind of hard to do. So you know Savage is not the future. But do you force Watson, who could be fragile in terms of confidence, do you force him out there on the road against the good pass? Bengals aren't going to stop the run, but the Bengals will rush the passer. So do you want Watson behind that offensive line in a run?
The Bengals defense played well, Dave, against the Ravens. We can't criticize the Bengals defense at all. It wasn't their fault that Andy Dalton put him in the situations that he did. But you're right. They find himself in a situation. Now, listen, O'Brien's supposed to be the big quarterback guru. And he said that, he's never seen a rookie quarterback as prepared and as ready to play the National Football League as Deshaun Watson was. But then after that, he followed that up by stating, but Tom Savage has done everything that I asked him to. My personal belief is they're going to go back to Savage. I had a guy that does the postgame show on in Houston today, and he says that he thinks they're going to go back to Savage as well because it almost makes O'Brien's decision look wrong if he benches Savage right away, right? Because he just made the decision that he was the guy that he wanted.
Yeah, it's so early, for Watson. But let's go back and let's talk about O'Brien as the quarterback guru because you know what Tom Brady has done in his career? He's made a lot of coaches gurus. We made more money betting against Charlie Weiss than any coach in my lifetime. People thought that Charlie Weiss was a genius because guess what? He coached Tom Brady. Well, look at how many offensive assistants.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels was a big genius too, right? Great head coach.
O'Brien's a quarterback guru. Well, outside of Tom Brady, who exactly has O'Brien developed?
His biggest accomplishment is getting Matt McGloin into the NFL from Penn State. That's because honestly, O'Brien's best work came at Penn State. I mean, he's been 9-7. And I guess 9-7 in the NFL gets you a contract extension on a yearly basis. That say, hey, look, other coaches would defend him and say, hey, look, he's a winning coach. He goes 9-7 every year. But I know for a fact last year, Houston Texans management called O'Brien in and basically told him, we don't think we have a 9-7 talent roster here. Like, we expect more. They're playing in a division that we play in. He's been unable to take advantage of it. And we can pinpoint, you can look at all the quarterbacks that they've had, but he's a so-called, I don't think he's a quarterback guru, but he's a so-called quarterback guru, Dave. And the fact of the matter is he's the one that's made all these decisions and wanted all these quarterbacks.
Yeah, he wanted Osweiler, which played out real well. Let's give O'Brien a lot of credit for what he did at Penn State. He managed to keep that ship afloat through some real turbulent water. So he did a terrific job there. But in terms of what he's done with Houston, they have really struggled at that quarterback position. The problem he has is this is almost too big of a game this week because what do they do next week? They go to New England. So you're looking at 0-3 real quickly. If you commit to Watson here, that means you're almost committing to Watson for the New England game as well. That's a real big load to put on a rookie quarterback in terms of having your confidence stifled real early.
They want it both ways, the Texans, though. They're trying to build this quarterback thing for the future, but I feel as though they have a team to win now. I'm not so sure Savage is much better than Watson anyways. And even though I don't think it was Savage's fault per se, the fact is Watson's mobility puts him in a better situation due to the offensive line play, doesn't he?
Yeah, let's talk about some perspective you could get here that will help you handicap a lot of teams over the course of the season. We're talking about reading the fine print, quarterback situations, and coaching job security, because these will play hand in hand. If O'Brien thinks he's guaranteed 2018, he can get away with some things this year. He may not be guaranteed that. What's the deal on Mitch Trubisky in Chicago? It depends on if John Fox thinks he's guaranteed 2018 or not. Those are things to watch. And that Fox probably has to go 500 to keep his job. O'Brien probably has to go 500 to keep his job. Now you get caught in this quandary. Do you do what's best for the future of your team? Developing a Trubisky, developing a Watson, or do you just go all out to win as many games as you can this year, which might actually put you behind the curve in terms of development later? Those are things to watch across several teams this year. Some of the guys have no pressure. Let's talk about Shanahan in San Francisco as a good example.
Yeah.
He can go 0-16, and nobody is going to care. He probably knows Brian Hoyer is not his quarterback in the future, so he has some maneuverability. He does not have that pressure.
Look at McDermott in Buffalo. He's got almost complete control. He goes in. He goes, I don't care. You guys drafted him in the second round last year. He's gone, right? Like, you're right. You know, there's certain guys with the confidence. All right, so we'll move on to the next game here, but you can't in good conscience lay a 5 spot right up. And I remember I spoke to a big-time bookie and, you know, an Italian guy per se, Dave, and he once told me, he said, Morency, anytime a point spread is 5 in a basketball game or a football game, stay away from it. It's a crooked number. So, and this game really does have stay away written all over it, but it's the Thursday nighter, Dave. So, you know, people are going to be betting this football game. I vowed today on the Fantasy Sports Network, and I threw a Bengals jersey in the garbage that I would never, ever bet on the Cincinnati Bengals ever again, and I'm not betting on them this week. I want to take the 5 points with the Texans, but I just can't do that either.
No, I tell you what could become interesting by kickoff, though. It's already 5 minus $1.15 at Chris. Bet online 5 minus $1.11. There's been a lot of Bengal money out there tonight. That's early because the smaller guys in the market, the guys who will force action to the favorite on a Thursday night, they won't bet till Thursday. If 5.5 gets out there tomorrow morning, that means there's a chance to see 6 come Thursday. 6, it starts to get interesting because Houston's defense will keep them in a game. I don't think Cincinnati will do anything to break the game open because if you're Marvin Lewis, you can be conservative here and dare either Savage or Watson to make a play. And sometimes we like to take points into a coach with a conservative game plan because he'll leave you in the hunt for a while. If I'm Marvin Lewis, I don't mind moving the ball to midfield and punting every possession. I just don't want to give anything away to Houston. That can keep the Texans in a game for a while.
And not to make excuses for the Houston Texans, but their city was underwater. And there was a lot of drama. It took them out of their routine. It might help them to get away from Houston. You know, they're feeling the pressure of let's go out there and win Hurricane Harvey and all that type stuff. J.J. Watt, you know, spent more time on Periscope and on Twitter raising money for everybody than he did preparing for a football game. So, you know, Denver Broncos moving down the field right now. They just took a shot in the end zone and missed. They're already in field goal range. 7:37 left in the first quarter of play. But, you know, we can't underestimate that. They are humans, Dave, right? So I'll cut them a little slack for the Hurricane Harvey. And I think it might help them to get away and get on the road. And I actually imagine, too, in most situations as the season goes on, players would hate this short rest stuff and playing on a Thursday night. But after, you know, both teams got humiliated like that in the fashion that they did, I would bet you to a man if these guys are probably happy they're back out there as quickly as they are.
You know, they well could be. We hear guys talk about that a lot. About, you know, it's like fighter gets knocked down. He wants to get back up and get right back at the other guy. But I think where Houston really mismanages, we talked about Dwayne Brown a little bit earlier. When you know the way your schedule lays out, with the game at Cincinnati and then the game at New England, you needed that win over Jacksonville. That was a big game for them yesterday. You solved the Dwayne Brown issue one way or the other. You get that done. You don't let it linger. That was the tennis equivalent of a service break yesterday. You can't get back a home loss to Jacksonville unless you get an outright win as a road underdog. So they've got to win at Cincinnati or at New England to get back for that. They needed to get Dwayne Brown's situation solved before that game yesterday. It was just too big of a game in terms of the way their season lays out.
You know, I saw a great quote in the chat right here. Somebody said, you know, what's the over-under on turnovers in this football game on Thursday? Dave, I swear to God, I can never remember as many pick sixes and defensive special teams touchdowns as yesterday. Can you? And, you know, when we say defend, there wasn't that many kick returns or punt returns. I can't even think of any off the top of my head. But, you know, the prop bet, will there be a defensive or special teams touchdown scored? And, you know, that usually pays. You know, in an Alabama game, it doesn't pay much. You and I have talked about Alabama and that prop before in the past. But in a National Football League game, you can get plus 150, plus 160, depending on the book. And I can't recall so many pick sixes as I saw yesterday, Dave.
We're going to write about this in the Tuesday Point Blank about a lot of factors contributing to bad offense. And some of these numbers are actually going to be historic. Going into tonight's game, the NFL yards per rush, 3.6 in the opening week. 4.2 has been the league average over 5 years. That's less than a half yard per average below where they've been. But let's have what we call adjusted yards per pass. That's with sacks built in. Over the past 2 seasons, only one quarterback was under 5 yards per pass for a full season. That was Jared Goff. There were 13 guys this week that fell under that 5.0. The offensive line play was brutal. And what the Tuesday Point Blank is going to focus on, and something we'll probably talk about a lot of these Monday nights, NFL coaches have complained about the type of offensive linemen coming into the league out of these college spread offenses. They say these guys don't know technique. They're basically taught to brush block and then get up and get ready for the next play. So we'll have some quotes from Tom Cable that'll be part of tomorrow's column. But here's what we did to sort of focus on how bad this offensive line play is. We listed every offensive lineman that qualified for the Pro Bowl last year. Not one came from a college that ran a spread offense. So when you look at these Pro Bowl offensive linemen, you see Michigan, Notre Dame, Iowa State, Arkansas, Wisconsin, a lot of Big Ten kids. Not one Pro Bowl lineman came from a college with a spread offense. So that's actually a big handicapping factor we need to talk about week in and week out. Here's your problem, though, for Thursday night and turnovers. Both of these coaches are going to go out of their way to not turn the ball over. So you talk about these no-score first 6.5-minute props and whatnot. I think both coaches would be thrilled to run the ball twice, throw an incomplete pass, and punt on their opening possession. Just don't give anything away. So this may be one of these counterculture. If they try to push the turnovers and the sack props too high for Thursday, they might screw that up because I think both coaches want to go slow tempo and get as few mistakes made as possible.
Dave Malinsky, the author of Vegas Point Blank, you read it daily on sportsbookreview.com. The Denver Broncos scored the first touchdown of this football game. Trevor Siemian, crisp drive down the field. And I'll tell you what, that was a hell of a catch, man. Hell of a catch from Fowler. Fowler steps up and in here this evening. Ben Fowler. Fantasy players are like, who, what, what's going on? Ben Fowler. Ben Fowler, man. It's always expect the unexpected. 7-0 right now. Let's get people an in-game number and blast through some more point spreads for week 2. In-game right now, Denver Broncos -6.5. Total 42.5 right now. Right back to where we started originally. Broncos -6.5. Total 42.5. Money line -270. Chargers +215 on the money line. All right, Dave. So another intriguing football game here. We've got pupil versus mentor. Philadelphia Eagles, an impressive win yesterday against a dysfunctional Washington Redskin football team, takes on a Chiefs team playing at home with an extended break after the upset victory over the New England Patriots. Current number right now is 5 points, 4.5, 5, depending. And for the record, total in the Bengals game was 38 on Thursday. We didn't talk about the total, but it's an even 38. But as we move forward here, Dave, what do you make of this Kansas City Chief football game against the Philadelphia Eagles with Peterson, longtime assistant with Reed, going into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs?
Yeah, pending the way the Chargers-Broncos plays, we've only got 2 NFL teams that we graded out as good offensively this week, Kansas City and Minnesota. Minnesota with a quick grade. Haven't had a chance to dig into that one, but I'm sure it's going to hold up. Kansas City's grade was off the charts good. Imagine you go into New England, you're -1 in turnovers, you're -84 in penalty yards, and you win the game easily, comfortably on the scoreboard. That shows you how many things that Kansas City did right. They have playmakers in that offense now that they haven't had before. The question is, will they attempt to make the plays? Alex Smith isn't dynamic down the field, but he can make things happen if he's got the weapons. Now you've got Hunt, you've got Hill, you've got these weapons you can stretch the field with. It'll be interesting to see if week by week Kansas City gets a little bit more aggressive with that offense and becomes harder to game plan for.
Very interesting. Yeah, interesting. Total's 47. 47.5 there in that football game. I'm using, going down the rotation here, I'm using the sportsbookreview.com betting odds NFL football page right now. So support the sponsors, guys. Just pick one of the sports books there on the screen. You're going to be betting anyway. So if you want to keep this programming going, that SBR does great stuff for bettors. All right, Dave. So Arizona and Indianapolis, man, what a train wreck we have here. I was very disappointed in Carson Palmer. I defended him throughout the offseason. I even placed a wager, a future bet. And you know me, Dave, I'm an impatient son of a bitch. I've broken toasters before, all right? I've literally, couldn't wait for my Pop-Tarts to pop. Got too impatient and started jamming it up. And I bet 8.5. I was really high on this Arizona football team. David Johnson gets hurt. Carson Palmer falls apart. And it looks so great. They pick off Matt Stafford to start the football game. They were up 10-0, and eventually the wheels fall off. That Golladay kid looks real good for the Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford just tore them apart. And, the Arizona has an elite defense, too. What did you make of that? And what do you make of the number here in this football game?
It is a real concern because Carson Palmer looked old. And it's one thing to make bad plays when you're under pressure, but sometimes in the pocket, he looks old. He's not nimble. So now the teams can pressure because as Larry Fitzgerald slows down a little bit, you don't have to tunnel him. You don't worry about Fitzgerald getting down the field. That frees you up to blitz just a little bit more. So if teams start to dial pressure up against Palmer, that nimbleness in the pocket, when he's got a clean pocket, he's fine. Palmer will not break the pocket and make plays like a lot of quarterbacks can. Once he breaks the pocket, the play's pretty much over. He's got to throw the ball away at that point. So I don't know necessarily that they bounce back all that well, but decision for the Colts to make. Do you dare try Jacoby Brissett, Gabe, as starting this week? Yeah, have you seen enough of Scott Tolzien by now? Do you dare throw
So,
Brissett?
Mark, I didn't see your comments on Scott Tolzien, but I had our mutual great friend and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, Mark Lawrence, on last week. He's on every Wednesday on the Fantasy Sports Network with me. And, Mark, we were talking about this game, and Mark referenced you. And he actually wrote about you in the playbook. Did you read the playbook this week? And in his write-up for this show, he said, my good friend Dave Malinsky actually thinks Scott Tolzien might be the worst backup quarterback, not just in the league, but in the history of the NFL, Dave. Did you say that?
I couldn't say NFL history because that's going back a long ways.
Yeah, there's been some bad quarterbacks. I'm a Bills fan. I was thinking of a couple off the top of my head. Jeff Toole, Alex Van Pelt.
Yeah, my first exposure to pro football is 1968. When the Pittsburgh Steelers had one of the great quarterback battles of all time, Dick Shiner and Kent Nix, who were both just atrocious. They were terrible. But, if that's who you got, that's actually Dick Hoke, their starting running back, actually averaged more yards per pass that year than either of the quarterbacks did.
I remember in Pittsburgh I remember people didn't even like Neil O'Donnell. Remember? A guy took him to a Super Bowl, and they still didn't really like him.
Well, it was the post-Bradshaw years, so it was
Bobby
a real hard
Brister was popular because he had the cool name. Bubby was the cool guy. He was a cool guy for a couple of years. And the best ever, the Steelers quarterbacks, I'm thinking of backup quarterbacks, Dave, was the Magnum lookalike. Remember Mark Malone?
Mark Malone, yeah.
Yeah, he had the stash.
Now, there was one guy who was more fun than Malone, Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam. He was a blast because he could come out there and just wing it and just have a whole lot of fun on the field. But in terms of this week, what do you do if you're the Colts? One, do you find some clarity about Andrew Luck at any point? And all they keep saying is, we don't know. Well, somebody should know. He'll be ready week 3. He'll be ready week 4. That at least helps you to prepare because the thing the Colts have going for them is a pretty darn soft schedule. And if they see Houston lose on Thursday night, the team that, let's say, they might have thought was their toughest competition in the division, if they see Houston's 0-2, there's not a huge amount of pressure on. You have a lot of winnable games out there at home on their schedule. But I just don't know if you put Tolzien back out there, there's no upside. We talk about guys like Simeon, who could be a game manager. I don't think Tolzien could even be a game manager. I just don't see the upside with him.
7.5, 44.5 is the total in that football game. Minnesota. So it looks like Minnesota right now is getting seven points in this football game, 7 points over at Pinnacle right now, Dave. Minnesota, an impressive game this evening. What did you make of the Pittsburgh Steelers win against the Cleveland Browns yesterday? And what do you make? To me, this number feels a little bit high, actually, with the quality of defense that the Minnesota Vikings bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see sevens tomorrow morning. I think we'll see that get adjusted off. Steelers didn't run the ball yesterday. Yeah, Brown had a huge game running free through the Cleveland secondary. But Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, they were not able to get much push at the line of scrimmage. That was a little bit disconcerting for them. But one of the things that was so big for Pittsburgh, they've drafted real high for linebackers several years in a row. They busted on a few of them. Watt may not be a bust. He had a big, big game for the Steelers yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a dynamic that they're looking for if he becomes that kind of playmaker for them, because they've got some speed at the other linebacking spots. That Pittsburgh front seven on defense has an awful lot of upside now. I just didn't like to push their offensive line. Against the Cleveland defensive front, I thought they could move off the ball. The Steelers weren't able to do it.
Yeah, the number feels a little high. So, yeah, you think it's going to come down in this spot. I'm looking for a total right now in this football game. Let's see. No total. I don't see a total yet. Let me get this here. I got multiple screens open here.
We're probably looking at about a 44.5 or 45.
Let's see totals. All right, here we go. Here we go. My bad. Yeah, good. 45. You're exactly right, Dave. Looking at a 45 over at 5 dimes right now. All right, so next game in the rotation is Cleveland and Baltimore. Cleveland and Baltimore. Baltimore Ravens. I don't know, Dave. I don't know how the hell Harbaugh does it, but, man, he's such a rock-solid coach. Yeah, let's be real. Andy Dalton gift-wrapped that freaking football game, and I swear, Dave, I mean it, man. Like, I'm done with Andy Dalton. Like, remember who was the guy who was it, Chuck Knobloch? Who was that the Yankee second baseman that used to throw the ball into the dugout and into the stands all the time?
Yes.
Yeah, was it Knobloch that had the yips? And remember Steve Sachs had it. Remember there was a catcher. He couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. It was like a mental phobia and stuff. I swear, Andy Dalton, Dave, like, it's got to be mental now. Like, I seriously think, like, it's one of these deals where he needs to go to, like, Switzerland or something and have a fucking team of shrinks, like, study him and stuff. Or, like, he needs to start taking Prozac or something. I don't know, Dave. Like, the kid can't be saved, I don't think.
The
like,
NFL doesn't – does the NFL allow – they don't allow Prozac, do they?
I don't know. They allow you to punch women, but they probably don't. They don't allow you to smoke weed, so – I think Prozac's probably allowed, Dave, since it's a pharmaceutical. You know what I mean?
Did you get to try anything when you were here, by the way?
Prozac's bad for you, so the NFL would allow that. And, yeah, I did. I actually went to a fine establishment, Dave. I recommend the place. Independently run, really nice lady that ran it. She gave me her card. She's a manager even. And right across the street from the Palms. I don't know if you're aware of that spot. Right across the street from the Palms. Great place, actually.
Well, if you want to have that type of business, the Palms clientele, has been pretty good through the years for that. Now that it's going to become a Stations property, they may try to clean it up a little bit. The thing I'm looking forward to, and it hasn't happened yet, I want a YouTube video of this. You can get a chocolate chip cookie for $25. And I just envisioned some stoner going in one night, seeing the cookies, and thinking, wow, those look good. Give me a dozen chocolate chip cookies. And I say, okay, sir, with tax, it'll be $321.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, people are paying $5 for scoops of Nutella nowadays, Dave. So, yeah, it's $300 for cookies. Sounds normal to me, especially in Toronto where I live. You go into McDonald's here, and they're like, it's $12. I'm like, I got a fucking Happy Meal. Fuck. What do you mean it's $12?
Well, we should clarify for people, too, the $25 cookie is listed as being 4 servings. Now, obviously, for you, that's 1 serving. But for most people, they're saying that would actually represent 4 servings. How they decide what a serving is for our herbal remedies, I'm not quite sure.
Hey, Dave, I'm hardcore, and even I'm not down with the edibles. Like, I got to be honest with you, because you never know how you're going to react. You never know. Like you said, I've eaten Rice Krispie things before. I've gotten on planes before, and I really wish I did it. You know what I mean? Like, there's been time. I'm more of a Willie Nelson smoker than an eater, but it's fun. Yeah, it's amazing, though, and that's the business in the marketplace. It's legalized in Canada, or at least it will be, and it will be in the States everywhere as well. But it's such a big industry because A lot of people had never really considered smoking before. Maybe they don't mind a tea, Dave. A lot of women, they like the tea or maybe a THC cream. As you mentioned, the cookies and the brownies and everything and the candies and the edibles really brings a whole new market into it. And, it's the pure business, Dave, right? I mean, it's the next big boom on Wall Street.
If you can tax it and regulate it, because the one thing that we've been able to do, you use Colorado, we can use Washington, get some examples quickly of what the behaviors are going to be. Vegas was actually behind the times. We could have been Amsterdam several years ago because we had the ideal layout to experiment. You could have done it territorially down on East Fremont, which is geared very well for that. We get so many visitors from around the world. We could have done a lot of good social sciences research here. We'll still be able to over time, but there was an opportunity wasted about a decade ago here.
Yeah, and, the sky didn't fall, right, when they opened the place. I went to the place across from the Palms. There were a couple of people in line. It was in and out, no drama. And as you stated, revenue. It's funny seeing the governor of Nevada, who's a Republican, that declare a state of emergency to get more weed. He's like, we're running out of weed. And, we don't get the weed. We can't get we need the money for the schools and we need the money for the highway. And, it's just funny the era that we're in right now. But yeah, Dave, it's funny. We had no problem with massage parlors all over the place, right? But a couple of dispensaries, and the sky's going to fall. It'll be interesting to see what the Supreme Court does. Before we're done, I'll get your quick take on that Supreme Court thing as far as the single game and the wagering in New Jersey is concerned. So Cleveland, Deshaun Kaiser impressed some people yesterday. They get the backdoor cover. They're getting 7.5 points at Baltimore this week.
What we liked about Kaiser is he spread the ball out. He had 7 different guys catch at least 2 passes, and Britt, the 8th guy, only caught 1, and he's going to be a factor in the rotation. So he made good reads. He was able to get the ball out. Hugh Jackson wasn't afraid to call some different things with Kaiser, but boy, this is an awfully difficult defense for him to have to face on the road. Here's Gabe, what we didn't get to learn yesterday is Joe Flacco ready to play? And there just wasn't any evidence out there that we could see. He didn't get the ball downfield to the wide receivers much at all. Woodhead was a leading receiver, catching a lot of dink and dunk stuff. I don't know how ready Joe Flacco is going to be. But no, even though it's going to be hard for Baltimore to build very many margins, Deshaun Kaiser as a road dog against an A- defense, that's not the sort of thing you want to have in your portfolio early in the season.
Dave Malinsky with us. And Dave, everyone in the chat's talking about weed now. everybody's talking about weed now and about how they want to light up. And even me, I just said, Dave, weed's like pizza. You talk about pizza and you're like, shit, I got to order a pizza. I swear, you talk about weed and I'm like, man, I got to smoke some weed now. Let's talk about weed.
We got one classic right over here on Sahara, where you have a dispensary and a Domino's right next to each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
How much is that Domino's worth?
Oh, that's awesome. That's fucking location. I did a live show, Dave, years ago, about 4 years ago or something, 3-4 years, when I was living in Vegas. I went to LA and I did a live show. And what's the Studio City? All right, touchdown, is that Melvin Gordon? Touchdown Chargers. So Studio City. I did it in Studio City. And it was nice place, Studio City, right? So a lot of the TV tech guys work there. I did a show at a nice bar, but right across the street from the bar, Dave, exactly. They had a weed place and a fucking Baskin Robbins right next door to it. And I thought the same thing. I was like, man, God bless California. It doesn't get any better than that. You got a weed dispensary and a Baskin Robbins next door.
We'll get back to that in 1 second, but let's go back to the Charger touchdown. What does Phillip Rivers do the first time in the red zone? He attacks the middle of the field.
Yeah, you called it middle of the field. It was wide open, too.
And who doesn't make the tackle on Gordon? It was Simmons, where formerly when TJ Ward's there, you don't necessarily think about that opening. Phillip Rivers went right to it the first opportunity that he has. That Domino's is also a 24-hour Domino's. So just imagine how well they're going to do over time.
Yeah, we'll move on from the dispensary talk, but the mayor of Toronto, Prime Minister Trudeau legalized it, but they didn't open it anywhere. Next year. They keep kicking the can down the road. But a bunch of dispensaries just opened anyways and did it by themselves. So the mayor of Toronto was complaining. And he's like, it's bad, other businesses and, other businesses are complaining and it's not legal yet. And I went to this fish and chips place a couple of times, and it was kind of pricey, man. It was like $17 for fish and chips, but it was pretty good. But it was like $15 or something. And I told the guy, I went in there, and I said, yeah, I went to the dispensary next door, and I went in, I ordered the food, I go to the dispensary, I come back, and I pick the food up. And, I saw the guy outside, and he said to me the other day, he goes, oh, I don't see you, you don't come by here anymore. And I told him, because the mayor shut the dispensary down next door to you. I said, it hurts your business. I said, dispensary there, good for your business. Figure it out, guys. It's amazing the short-sightedness. You don't have to be a pothead to fucking sell fish and chips to potheads, do you, Dave?
Now, for those of you who are wondering why we're talking about this instead of the NFL board, you're going to hear a lot of this on Monday nights. Because if you're going to win, and we want everybody out there, either we want you to win or at least we want you to do better than you're currently doing. Be a better. If you're going to do that, you're not just handicapping the teams, you're handicapping yourself. You have to build a lifestyle that's going to keep you in there through these cycles, because there are going to be so many bounces of the ball that are going to go against you. You're going to have to wake up in the morning after so many bad days and get right back to work.
Gamblers are so resilient, aren't we? We
Yes.
should be doing something more productive with our lives. Because if we were troops or something, we'd never give up, Dave. You know what I mean? It's the thing with gamblers. I'm in the horse business now, and unfortunately, our horse is hurt, Dave. He's got a fractured foot. And, the trainer's explaining this to me, and I told the guy, I said, listen, I've been gambling since 1982, all right? I said, I get it. There's ups and downs. You got to deal with it. And the guy told me, he goes, you've taken this horse injury better than any owner I've ever had. And I told him, I'm a lifelong gambler. It is what it is. What do you want me to do? I told the guy, what do you want me to do? The horse is hurt. Fuck. You want me to yell at you? You're the trainer. What's going to change? Dave, it's amazing. We're resilient people, gamblers.
Yeah, and one of the things that we want to talk about in tonight's show is why we're going a little more low-key is, one, don't overreact to yesterday, because the one thing that does happen every year is I see people come into the first big week too excited. You read all the preseason magazines. You do all the studying. You're all excited. Well, guess what? Take all the magazines that you read and look at the games that were played yesterday. Now you know what those magazines were actually worth. Yesterday was the reality. The magazine you're reading on the beach, you're fantasizing about having this magical season. No, we want you to deal with the reality.
You're right. It's like the catalog, what it looks like in the catalog and what it looks like when you take it out of the box at home. You're right. When I was a kid, I'd order those things from the baseball cards and stuff. And even fantasy players, and fantasy drives the NFL right now. Even fantasy players, very disappointed, Dave. There was no fantasy action. It's been a field goal fest, right? So the fantasy numbers were low. The excitement level was relatively low. Chargers score a touchdown, get a stop right now. Could be a little bit of momentum, but with the altitude, deep-ass punt right now, San Diego getting the ball at their 10-yard line. All right, Dave, so what do you make of this Baltimore-Cleveland game? It's an opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to be 2-0 in division play. That's what this game is.
No, I don't get involved in a lot of teasers. The stores I play through kind of frown on them. But Baltimore looks like an ideal candidate to put in there. I could see Cleveland maybe making a few plays to hang around. It's going to be a while before Cleveland is going to finish these games on the road by winning them. That takes time. I don't see Cleveland being there yet.
Dave, I was waiting for the number of the New England-New Orleans total to be posted, and somebody asked me last night what I thought it was going to be, and I told them 53 or 54. I thought it was a little too early in the season to go to a 56.5, 57. And truth be told, maybe if the New Orleans Saints would have put up more points on the board this evening, they would have come out with a little bit higher of a number. But we've got 53.5 a total. New England Patriots, 53.5. And as far as the number is concerned, Patriots open up as 4.5-point favorites, and it's 4.5 pretty much everywhere right now. Pinnacle, 5 Dimes, Bookmaker, Bet Online, etc.
Yeah, nothing happened in the New Orleans game tonight to change that too much. I think this is a little bit high. I see New England as having some assimilation issues going into the season. Now, we wrote about this at Point Blank last week and also wrote about it in detail, breaking down the New England-Kansas City game. Tom Tom Brady has been real successful with a chemistry in his passing game, not necessarily great talent. And I'll tell you what's going to be a fabulous thing in about probably 7 or 8 years, Tom Brady's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And you're going to see all those Super Bowl rings. And then you're going to go back and realize, wow, look at how few Patriots are in the Hall of Fame with him, because they did a great job of maximizing role players. Well, it's a problem in this passing game right now. It's going to take time. They weren't prepared to play without Edelman. Now they might have to play without Amendola as well. So what did they add? Maybe not the right fits. In Cooks and in Dorsett, you've got a couple of speed burners. I'm not sure speed burners is what you want for a 40-year-old quarterback. So last year, 11% of Tom Brady's passes were more than 20 yards down the field. Against Kansas City, 30%, almost 3 times as many were more than 20 yards. They weren't successful with them. And this wasn't playing from behind, by the way. That final drive, the only drive of the game when the Patriots were down by more than 1 score, there wasn't a single pass more than 20 yards. So I don't know if this New England passing game fits just yet. It's going to take a little bit of time. And, Gabe, maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe they added the wrong players for a 40-year-old quarterback.
It'll be interesting to see as far as Gilmore is concerned, too. It's very unlike the Patriots to want to pay a cornerback $14 million a year, and Gilmore had a tough time against the Kansas City Chiefs. And New Orleans will be much better at home. Even though the game is indoors tonight, there's a big dichotomy and split between the Saints offense at home than there is on the road, without a doubt. Chicago Bears, they battled the Atlanta Falcons. They're getting 6.5 right now at Bookmaker against the Tampa Bay Buccaneer football team that had their first game delayed. Chicago, there was a spirited effort from the Bears. Not to be, not a shock. There were a lot of negative trends against the Atlanta Falcons. Last 17 Super Bowl losers to open up the season on the road. They had only won twice outright. Last 16 teams to go winless in the preseason were 4-12 against the spread in week 1. So I'm not shocked Atlanta won, but didn't cover the football game. I don't know. I'm not sure Chicago is as good as they showed actually yesterday, but they do have a game under their belt, and it's an incredibly rare instance, Dave, that we see this in college football sometimes with the perennial, while one team played and the other team didn't. We never see this in a National Football League before. What's your angle on that the Bears have played a game and the Bucs haven't?
Yeah, not only did Tampa not play a game, but their practice rhythms have been disrupted, as well. Players are having to worry about their homes and take care of so many other things. So there could be a chemistry disruption. I think what Chicago did yesterday is what we're going to see Chicago do a lot this year. Scrap, play smart football, and just not be quite good enough to finish the deal. Here's what we did like, though. You take away just one busted coverage on the 88-yard Atlanta touchdown pass, and the Bears held the Falcons under 300 yards. They competed pretty well on defense. I think they're going to do that week in and week out. The problem is to win games on the road, somebody in the skill positions has to step up and make a play. Glennon's not that guy. So he's not – they had a chance in the Atlanta game at the end. Couldn't make it a play. I think it's the same thing here. I think Glennon will have them stay in games. I don't see Glennon making that play for them to win those games.
Yeah, to stay in games but not to win games. Good point. Buffalo Bills. I guess the Bills, that game went exactly the way I thought it would. I told people it would be 20-10. I said 20-10, 23-10, 27-10. Ended up being 21-12. Depends on when you bet that game as well, Dave, because there were 9.5 posted earlier in the week when it was announced that Tyrod Taylor was going to play. But good for Sean McDermott. You can tell the players that he didn't cut actually really like him. I know it sounds generic to say that a program's going in the right direction, but the Buffalo Bills are stockpiling draft picks. It's not the Rex Ryan show anymore. McDermott brings a good defensive mind to the table and defensive intensity. And even though the Bills' offense struggled in the preseason, the number one unit looked damn good in the preseason. And I know it was only the Jets yesterday, but they did what they had to do defensively, and they took care of business. And it's interesting. A lot of there's a lot of these storyline games. Brandon Cooks playing the Patriots in week 2 right away. Bruce Arians going back to Indianapolis here in week 2. And here we have Sean McDermott, longtime defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. Brandon Beane, former assistant general manager of the Carolina Panthers, now the GM of the Bills, head coach of the Bills, Tolbert. There's a lot of Carolina connections going back here right now. And you talk about it, Dave. You talked about he stepped out of bounds. Relatively big punt return. That should be a penalty there on San Diego at the end. If he stepped out of bounds, where's the fucking flag on that? The punter just nailed him at the end. But what do you make of that, Dave? And Sean McDermott, he's going to know the ins and outs of this Carolina defense and his personnel. He coached them. He knows their weaknesses. So we had the Buffalo Bills getting 7 against Carolina, who smoked San Francisco yesterday. Total 42.5.
Buffalo may be a lot like Chicago that we just talked about. They will compete and hang around in games and not be able to finish them. The problem is there are things you can do to attack the Carolina defense Buffalo might not be able to do. Buffalo issue coming into this season is no one in the secondary, starters or reserved, had played it down in a Buffalo uniform last year. That means a lack of chemistry. Jets weren't going to challenge that. But a similar thing at wide receiver. You really didn't have anybody in the wide receiver rotation back from last year. So what did Tyrod Taylor do yesterday? Well, 9 of his 16 completions went to McCoy or to Clay. Yeah. Dump offs to the running back and the tight end. He didn't get the ball to his wide receivers. But you can do that when you're at home against the Jets. And you sort of have control of the game flow. Guess what? You go to Carolina, if you fall behind.
Hard to come back. Yeah.
You got to get the ball down the field to your wide receivers. And here's what made it even tougher for the Bills. Because Taylor was going through the concussion protocol, it wasn't just not playing much in the preseason games, it was missing practice time. So I don't know if he's on the same page with the wide receivers yet. We didn't see it against the Jets. They may have to produce that against Carolina, and that's when your in running gets into play. Let's say I've got nothing in this game. Carolina gets up 10 or gets up 13 early. I'll actually get in on Carolina because if Buffalo gets taken out of their offense, if they can't run McCoy, if they have to drop back and throw the ball down the field, that's not what they're built to do right now. So if Carolina breaks early from the gate, I may get in on the Panthers.
Yeah, and Carolina seems like they seem to be in a nice bounce back situation this year as a whole. Even though Cam Newton didn't play much in the preseason, I thought Carolina was going to bounce back after the debacle that was last year. All right, here's an interesting game too, Dave. Tennessee coming off a disappointing performance, and I don't know what the hell Mike Mularkey's thinking starting the season with an onside kick. So what? So even if you get it, midfield, good for you. Good for you. 4 plays later, boom, wham, bam, it's 7-0 for the Raiders. That's and you're already defensively challenged. You're playing uphill. It's just the players were saying after they loved it. It's like the aggression and all that. For the record, the last time somebody did that successfully to kick off an NFL game with an onside kick that actually worked was 17 years ago. There's a reason why we never see it. It's just a stupid thing to do. And then they were down 7-0 and they were playing catch up. Now they go on the road. They take on a Jacksonville Jaguar football team that's going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. That probably has this us against the world mentality thing going on right now.
Yeah, Jacksonville got something for the psyche they needed so badly.
And for the record, Tennessee opens 1.5. Sorry, Dave, 1.5 point road favorite.
Yeah, how big is this for Jacksonville that Blake Bortles has no sacks and no turnovers? In a game because he didn't have the touches. The one thing they said. And we didn't see a lot from Fournette in the preseason, but the one thing they said is, look, he is showing up as good as advertised in camp. Well, look at his touches yesterday. 26 runs from scrimmage. He also caught 3 passes, 124 total yards. Fournette grounds that offense now. What it means is it opens up play action. And the reason that play action is so big in the NFL, when a quarterback fakes the run, the defense has to honor that fake. Well, guess what? In Blake Bortles' history in Jacksonville, when he faked a handoff in the past, nobody cared. Now, the fact that Fournette is the runner he is, when there's play action to Fournette, that will freeze a defense now. A defense has to respect that part of the Jacksonville offense. They haven't had – they were hoping T.J. Yeldon would have brought that for them. They were hoping Denard Robinson might have brought that. Didn't happen. Fournette has brought that element now. So don't be surprised if maybe we see Bortles settle down a little bit because there's less on his shoulders than there used to be. But, boy, it does hurt losing Allen Robinson. They've got some depth at the position, but that's a key loss for them.
Dave, the team that beat the Tennessee Titans, the Oakland Raiders. You and I talked extensively about the Raiders. You talked about them might being a better football team than they were last year, but not having as good of a record as they had. We talked about their point differential being 31, being the lowest in the history of any 12-win team in the history of the National Football League. Yet they came out, they took care of business, they got it done. Positive signs, big play for the Denver Broncos here, moving the ball right now. About 7 minutes left on the 25, 8 minutes, 33 seconds left on the 25-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. Chargers playing some soft coverage here. They're just letting guys set up. You know, this play wasn't that. This was a C.J. Anderson run, but they're letting guys just set up. You know, run down the field, set up 8 yards, and Simeon's hitting them. But I was surprised to see this number wasn't a little bit higher, Dave. I don't know if it's because the look, the Raiders passed every test yesterday. We know the Raiders are a popular team in Vegas right now. You know, they're a trendy pick. And the Jets, everyone's down on the Jets. I was really surprised to see the 13.5. Now, it's 15 at 5 dimes, but it's literally 13.5 everywhere else, from Pinnacle all the way over to UWager right now at 13.5. Inner tops, you name it. It's 13.5. I'm really surprised. I got to believe this goes up as the week goes on.
Yeah, here's what's frightening about the Jets. And you probably watched this one pretty closely yesterday, you know, being a Buffalo fan. Jets played about as well as they could.
Yeah.
They didn't play a bad game. That's like, okay,
it was like a boxer, Dave. You're right. It's almost like Conor McGregor. He did as good as he could. You know what I mean? That's what you're getting from them. You're right. Everything went their way. You're right. They played their asses off. Hey, listen, I said this on the radio tonight on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network, Dave. The two teams from New York, who embarrassed themselves more this weekend, the Jets or the Giants?
You want this? Yeah. How about, here's your cross-sport stat of the day. Yesterday, the Yankees outscored the Jets and Giants combined.
Wow.
Now, how much would you have lost if some drunk in a bar on Saturday night wants to make you that bet? It says, the Yankees are going all the way. I bet you they outscore the Jets and Giants both. You're going to lose all your money.
Yeah, some guy walked in and said the Jets and the Giants are so bad this year. The Yankees going to score more runs. Trevor Siemian back to pass. See, that's what I'm talking about. They're just letting them do this. Again, Dave. And, they're just letting – I used to do this in Madden when I played video games for like $50 a game. And my buddy couldn't stop it. And he used to get pissed off. And it's ironic. It was with Carolina. It was Jake Delhomme, the quarterback in the Madden video game. And I did the same motherfucking thing, Dave. I used to just send the tight end over the middle of the field, and every play was open, and they couldn't – on the video game, he couldn't stop it. And I don't know why the Chargers are doing this. Like, it's baffling to me. But nevertheless, Denver on the 1 yard line right now. The timeout coming, 8 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. And, under players getting a little nervous here right now, Dave, if you bet on the under of this game.
Should be getting a lot nervous right now. You could be talking about 21 points midway through the second quarter. I don't like zone coverage against bad quarterbacks because it makes their decision process a little bit too easy.
Yeah, you're get in their face, make them think. You're right.
That's it. You're giving them passing lanes. I would rather do press coverage.
And Simeon's a smart guy. He's a Northwestern guy. If he's smart, he can pick that little zone apart. He's not rocket science, right? He's going to do his read and go, shit, he's open. Simeon's a smart guy. He can get the ball there.
And what you're also doing is you're zoning Mike McCoy. And that's really, really dangerous. So now Denver went down the field on this drive with a lot of low-level execution plays. They didn't do anything that was that difficult.
Come on, CJ. I need this for a fantasy as well. I got him in DraftKings. I got him in a fantasy league. I got everything. Just short. CJ Anderson on the goal line here right now. Just short. So, yeah, Dave, I hate to be a Mark and Johnny Public here, but I'm laying the points with the Raiders. They're going to fucking smoke the Jets. There's my professional analysis, Dave. They're going to fucking smoke them.
That is what is so frightening, because in watching the Jets, I thought they were doing a lot of things right. And now when it's time to grade the game, guess what? First downs 23-11, total offense 408 to 214. And that's what the Jets do.
Sorry, Dave. Just Simeon with the nifty little juke. Simeon rushes it into the end zone for a touchdown. 1 yard touchdown run, 13-7, extra point pending. Sorry, Dave.
No, now you've got a big sequence coming up for the Chargers, and that you may have an opportunity at back-to-back possessions here. If you can move the ball, you'll have the last possession of the second quarter.
Yeah.
You will open the third quarter with the ball. So even though
Or Denver can punch him in the mouth, get a 3-and-out, and kick another field goal on the way out here.
Well, see, that's why this drive is so very important. Phillip Rivers now has, and Rivers has been around long enough to perceive the game that way. It's like, okay, here's what we want to do on this drive. We want to get 2 first downs to guarantee that we will finish the half with the ball. Then we'll attack. So look for Rivers to come out and try to get a couple of first downs first. Not going to be attacking down the field to start the drive. But it's a big sequence because it could be a long time before Denver sees the ball again, the way this time is laid out. But, yeah, I could see the game getting away from the Jets because, again, we talked about Buffalo's problem. You don't have receivers to throw from behind. What do the Jets do if they get way behind on the road in the second half? There is no passing game at all they can go to.
And the Raiders aren't going to let up. The Raiders won't let up. I'm not saying they're going to do like a college run up the score, but they're not going to let up. Marshawn Lynch's first game in his hometown, back in the Bay Area. They need some goodwill. They're leaving. They're screwing the city of Oakland. They are leaving, right? So they go home. They kill it. They beat the crap out of the Jets. The black hole doesn't throw batteries at them right now. All right, so another team. Here's an interesting line, Dave, only due to the fact that we have a game in progress here. But I'm seeing 5 Dimes have the Chargers as 4-point favorites against the Dolphins. I'm seeing Bet Online has them at 3-point favorites, and I don't understand the fascination with the public and the books with this fucking Charger team, Dave. I just don't. You know, I like the Broncos tonight. We talk about it. We talked about it right before kickoff, you and I. This mainstream perception of the Chargers. Not to mention, I don't know what you make of this, but the Chargers, and for the record, you know, sometimes a smaller stadium can be better. You know, the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian Football League, Dave, were playing the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Stadium holds 60,000 people. They were getting 8,000 people at the game. And it was a horrible atmosphere. It was cavernous. Nobody was going. It was terrible. U2 were playing a concert at Olympic Stadium. They had to move the football game to McGill University. Little stadium, Dave. Only holds like 21,000 people. They did it in a pinch. Game sold out. Great atmosphere. And they had a home field advantage suddenly, even though the stadium was smaller. So, you know, stadium home field advantage isn't by the size of the stadium, but the fact of the matter is the Chargers are playing in a small stadium, and the also other fact of the matter is nobody in LA gives a shit about the LA Chargers. So I don't know how much of a home field they're going to have here. And now we have a Dolphin team, similar situation to the Bucs. Dolphins haven't played a game yet.
No, so they needed to play to get Jay Cutler a little bit of experience with that offense. But let's talk about the physical setting for this. It is a tough thing to play at Denver, not only a Monday night game, but a Monday night game that starts later than usual. So you don't have a lot of turnaround time. Well, guess where the Dolphins are? They're already in LA. They're already on the West Coast. They're going to practice all week. They're going to be settled in pretty well. I don't see much home field, if at all, for this one. I've got San Diego graded as a 1 point for the home. If I trusted Jay Cutler a little bit more, this would be a nice little money line setup for Miami. But it is a rhythm and the chemistry there. Adam Gase has said all the things that a coach is supposed to say, but I don't know if I want to trust him yet. But here's the difference of Gabe between now and the past. In the past, we had to make all these decisions before the game started. Now, with all the in-running options, we can let it unfold a little bit. And if we see, Miami didn't score in the first drive, but Cutler looked okay, then we make the bet.
I told people that last night, and it's incredibly hard to do. It's almost an ego thing that we, you know, especially me, I'm on the air. People are like, what's the pick? What's the pick? And I get forced into giving picks on games that generally I wouldn't even bet on, Dave, right? But you're exactly right. Sometimes it's an ego thing, and we want to be right. We wanted to say, oh, I'm going to pick this before the game. There's nothing wrong with waiting, guys. There's nothing wrong with waiting. I've had much more success. You know, in fact, I usually save my stupid pregame bad picks with some in-game action, Dave, and actually maneuver it and get it back. Yesterday, me and Donnie Rightside talked at halftime. Man, we gave more winners than losers. You know, we gave the Jets under the number, Jets-Bills under the number in the second half. You know, there were 2 or 3 others we hit. We did lose the Bengals in the second half. Thanks to Andy Dalton. But anyways, okay, San Francisco, Dave, and Seattle, we won't keep you all night. Seattle, 12.5-point favorites against San Francisco in this football game.
You don't like Andy Dalton, do you?
No. You know what? I don't hate the guy because there's some athletes I don't like. Like, I don't like Conor McGregor, you know, but I don't dislike Andy Dalton. If I really didn't like him, I wouldn't bet him on all the time. But It's a real problem, Dave. I mean, it's to the point. No, I mean, the guy's probably cost me about $200,000 now over the years. It's like the last guy I had this much, was Bob Wickman. Remember Bob Wickman?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, fuck did I hate Bob Wickman, Dave. Like I really had to think. So much so, I actually sent a letter to the Atlanta Braves. I had my producer on the air draw one up. We sent a letter to the Atlanta Braves demanding that the strength and conditioning coach of the Atlanta Braves get fired because Bob Wickman's a fat sack of crap that can't get anybody out. And, he should do his job. And the Braves, to their credit, they actually responded to us. They said our strength and conditioning coach is one of the best coaches in the league. They said Bob Wickman's a great guy that gives to various charities. And as a joke, somebody actually bought me, on my birthday, Dave, they bought me game-worn Bob Wickman pants. Fuck. I've actually got them in my closet. I don't want to touch them. I don't want to touch Bob Wickman's game-worn pants, but I've got Bob Wickman's game-worn pants in my closet somewhere here, Dave.
We always wonder, Gabe, what has lurked in the Morency closet all these years.
Yeah.
That's about as dark as what we would have imagined. But let's put it this way. You're one of a kind. Yeah, who else has Bob Wickman pants in their closet?
Who else wants Bob Wickman's pants in their closet? I have them in a baggie. They're like, I never took them out. I sort of touched them once. I looked. I was like, damn. I was surprised. They're not as big as I thought they would be. Dear God, I didn't try them on, though. All right? I didn't try them on. That should be a bet. That should be a bet sometimes, Dave. If I ever, if I'm ever really extreme with an opinion, that's what people should hold me to. If I lose, I have to, wear Bob Wickman's pants, with nothing on underneath. I have to, nakedly put on Bob Wickman's baseball pants.
Have you ever been tempted, just out of curiosity, for the resale value on eBay? If you could get a single bid, I'm dying of curiosity. If you posted, let me know if you ever do that.
That's a good thing. Well, listen, he was playing for the Yankees at the time, so they're New York Yankee game-worn. It's a New York Yankee game-worn pants. So they are Major League Baseball. How much are the pants worth alone, Dave? Big league pants.
Yeah, but at some point you can't say Yankees. At some point you've got to say Bob Wickman.
No. They're Yankees. They're Yankees. If I'm selling them, they're Yankees game-worn pants.
Okay, a guy says, okay, I need proof. They're Yankees game-worn. Who wore them?
No, there is. There actually, Dave, there's a tag on the inside, and there's a fucking Yankee logo, and it says Bob Wickman. Yeah, there's a name in the pants.
Meantime, Phillip Rivers does what he's supposed to do. He's going to keep the ball, it looks like, into that. At least if they don't get another first down, they will punt Denver into the hole. So Rivers has already made a stop for his defense by picking up a couple of first downs here. But again, here's how games flow. When you talk about in running and you talk about momentum, yeah, Denver played well. Simeon got off to a good start. That 14-7 could get turned around because Denver's going to go a long time without touching the football.
Yeah,
these are the little things. Get these ingrained in your head as the season starts. Get these game flow ideas set as a part of your program.
Yeah, and people are wondering here in the chat, for the record, Bob Wickman had been around a while, Drew. Wickman was on the Braves that year when it cost me all that money. But Wickman was on the Yankees. He's on the Indians. So Orville bought the pants that when he on eBay when he was on the Yankees, I guess. Someone's asking about Pagano. Yeah, without a doubt. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but if Pagano didn't get cancer, Irsay would have fired him by now. Really? You can't fire a coach when you got fucking banners up in the stadium saying Chuck Strong everywhere. But, what are you going to do? It's not his fault Andrew Luck's out right now. I've been critical of Pagano over the years, guys, but, the situation being what it is right now, you can't point the finger at Pagano. So what do you make of San Francisco going into Pacific Northwest Day here? Putrid performance. I thought Seattle's offensive line was going to be better this year, Dave. It wasn't.
No, they thought the pieces were better. The chemistry wasn't there. You take away a couple of runs by Wilson, and there was just no production from the ground game at all. And here's the thing. When you're laying big points in the NFL, you want your ground game to be able to manage the flow in the second half. You want to be able to eat the clock with a lead. I didn't see anything from San Francisco yesterday that tells me they're any better than the Jets necessarily. Again, like the Jets, the 49ers look like at parts of the game, they were playing about as well as they could. It wasn't that they went out there and played such a terrible game. That's all they have right now. I don't think there's any pressure, as we said earlier, on Shanahan to make something happen this year. I don't want San Francisco in these road dog settings. They're not going to be able to run the ball early to slow a game down when they fall behind. When they've got to throw the ball down the field, they're just not ready to do that yet. But, Gabe, until we see that Seattle can run the football and do a little bit of game management, no, you're not going to catch me laying points with this team.
Dave, the Washington Redskins and another abysmal. A lot of teams coming off embarrassing performances in week one. Kirk Cousins, statistically, you look at his numbers. He's a stat guy. I hear fantasy guys, you look at Kirk Cousins and look at his numbers, and, he's 6th ranked this, and he put up that. Yeah, whatever, man. He in garbage time, and he just doesn't step up in big moments. And I'll credit Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, in the chat for warning me, and I defended Kirk Cousins. But here we are right now. Is this too big of an overreaction with the Rams? I see the Rams open up at 2.5-point favorites over a bookmaker right now against the Skins.
It may be because the Rams did some things that were really troubling yesterday. Todd Gurley ran 19 times. He got 40 yards. And that's against the Colt defensive front.
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell's up with that. I know.
The Rams were not able to get much leverage. Here's the Kirk Cousins issue, though. He had Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon to make him look real good for a couple of years. Does he have the receivers now that can make an average quarterback look above average, or is Kirk Cousins going to be back to the average Kirk Cousins he was before Washington loaded him up with so many weapons? I'm prepared to not like Kirk Cousins in the Washington passing game. Compared to what they've done the last 2 years, I think there is a downgrade from a tactical standpoint at that receiving core.
I'm looking at the total here for this football game because the Rams put up 46 points. I would imagine it's going to be a massive regression. The total is 46 in this football game, ironically enough. And look, the Denver Broncos get the football back. We'll see if they're able to squeeze anything out of this before the half. We'll get Dave's take on the halftime line before we let him go. So, all right. So, we got Washington, the Rams total 46 in that football game. Yeah, the Rams, what a way to open the season. I guess there were about 13 people in the stadium to see it, though, Dave. You see the pictures of the stadium? There was no one there.
One of the funny things that came up in the point blank thread over the weekend is the Rams were trying to spin the idea that their attendance is going to be way down. And they said, our focus this year is on the in-game fan experience. So we would rather have fewer people and have them be really happy to be here than sell more tickets.
The in-game experience? Fuck, you ever been to that stadium? What's the in-game experience? Dodging the Bloods and the Crips on the way out? And I say that I used to go there all the time. I love LA. I had no problem going there. But in-game experience, the stadium's a fucking dump. It's like 120 years old.
There's a real problem for the Chargers.
Oh, yeah, it's in South Central Los Angeles, too.
No, there's a real problem for the Chargers and Rams both in that the Dodgers will correct themselves eventually, and they're going to make a run in October. That's going to draw a lot of attention. Southern Cal is going to be at the top of the polls, all season. Here comes the NBA 2 weeks earlier than usual. Here comes Lonzo Ball, and also a couple of really good hockey teams in the area. Rams and Chargers can be completely irrelevant all season. The Rams have not connected to this community yet. The Chargers,
the Rams should be in Orange County. Yeah, that's where they were. They were popular. The Rams in Orange County, I think they can get away with it. Maybe, and they're going to build this new mega stadium, and it's a stupid idea. I think the only team that could work there would be the Raiders, Dave. The Raiders were kind of popular when they were there. Well, I lived there when they both left, actually. I used to go to Raider games in that era. Jay Schrader, Bo Jackson, Mike Shanahan was the coach, remember, briefly. Vince Evans. The Rams were somewhat popular in Orange County, but you're putting the Rams who, the Everett days and the Dickerson days, they played in Orange County. That wasn't Los Angeles. So, they were more of a suburban, Disneyland team. You know what I mean, Dave?
Yeah, we're not going to see a whole lot of spark out of them. And let's talk about market adjustments here. When Andrew Luck was considered healthy the Colts were favored against the Rams. So look at the luck-healthy line a couple weeks ago, and now look at where this line is against the Redskins. They push us a little bit too far. If it gets to 3, it'll be hard to not put a little bit of Redskins +3 in pocket. And I think before the week's out, I think we'll find that 3.
All right, we've got a team that's playing right now. It's going to be an interesting football game. Dallas Cowboys, one of the worst performances of the week had to be the Giants, but we'll save that for the Monday nighter here we'll get to. Dallas 1-point favorites right now, Dave, as we stand. Not every book has this up, but 5 times does, Bet Online does. Dallas Cowboys -1.5 at Denver.
I think based on where tonight closed with some 2.5 showing, this looks like about the right line. The thing that Dallas had to be happy is Ezekiel Elliott didn't have his full burst last night. Still played a good competent game. They got 104 rushing yards out of him. They're able to work him into the passing game, actually, for 5 receptions. I was surprised they got him worked into the passing game that well. Dallas picked up right where they left off offensively. Defense is going to be vulnerable, but I'm not sure that Denver brings the weapons to attack that vulnerability. But now, again, here's going to be Denver off of the short week, the later Monday start than usual, and the altitude. Maybe the Broncos have some heavy legs at practice this week.
Yeah, I think especially if the Broncos get a win here. So they're going into the break 14-7 at the half. We'll get a line in a second. Especially if the Broncos win, we'll see the dynamic here. I lean with the Dallas Cowboys right now in this football game as well. NFC Conference Championship rematch. I think finally you talked about the putridness of the football in week 1 yesterday. I was going to say last week, but last week was yesterday. So there should be some good games this week. Philadelphia, Kansas City's a good game. Minnesota, Pittsburgh's a good game. New England, New Orleans will be entertaining. All right, after that, and then in the Dallas and Denver and Green Bay and Atlanta. We're seeing a little bit of different lines here, different books. I see you wager 2.5, Intertop's 2.5, Heritage 2.5. Bovada's got it at 3. Couple of spots have it at 3 here with the Atlanta Falcons laying 3. And, of course, Dave, they'll be playing in that new stadium. It's funny that a bunch of college teams and soccer teams have played in that stadium before the Atlanta Falcons have. But that's exactly the case. And total is 53.5. Similar, same total as that New England-New Orleans game. It's funny. They don't want to go any higher than that, Dave, in any of these so-called track meet games.
I'm not sure we see a track meet here necessarily. One of the big issues with Atlanta, we could see that maybe one of the biggest assistant coaching changes really of my betting lifetime. You go from Kyle Shanahan, who last year had about as good of a year as an offensive coordinator is going to have, to Steve Sarkisian. Sarkisian has 1 year as an NFL coach. He coached the Oakland quarterbacks in 2005. Actually did a lousy job with Kerry Collins that year, had about like a 76 passer rating. The NFL defenses circa 2005 are an entirely different beast than what's out there now. So if you look at the Atlanta game yesterday, out of the 88-yard touchdown play, and that wasn't designed by the Falcons, that was just a busted coverage by the Bears. Atlanta didn't have a lot of chemistry or rhythm in their offense. Here's where the tactical matchup is. Last year, Don Capers had no answers in the playoffs. Different story now. You're going to read a lot about the Nitro. Something we wrote about in Point Blank with the Packers back in July. It's a 4-2-5 look. And 4-2-5 has been common in the NFL, but usually it's 3 corners. Not with the Packers. The Packers are going to come out there with 3 safeties. They can do it because they got a couple guys in their roster at safety who can hit. So they can have some linebacker or safeties that can actually be that third linebacker. The Nitro was interesting in the preseason. It was real interesting against Seattle yesterday. So talk about this flip-flop. The Packer defense was completely beat up and on their heels against the Falcons. Different story now. I wouldn't be surprised if Capers threw some things out there that Sarkisian wasn't quite ready for. Maybe if you get a +3, a little bit of Packers in pocket, and I think all these Atlanta totals are going to be a little bit high. Atlanta's defense is going to be better than it was last year, but this Atlanta offense could fall off just about as much. They're still going to be good, but they could fall off because they're not going to be great. So I think these Atlanta totals are a little higher than they should be.
Dave Morency joining us straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can read his daily column at on the front page, sportsbookreview.com. You guys probably know that. Dave will be joining me tomorrow on the Fantasy Sports Television Network as well. Who knows what will change between now and then. in the sporting world. And finally, in closing, Dave, before we get to the second half of this football game, we've got the New York Giants. And I got to tell you, it's hard to rank the offensive putridness of some of the performances yesterday. But if we are, it didn't get much worse than the New York Giants. I actually predicted it. It's one of the few games I was right about. I was on the Cowboys, but specifically I predicted Eli Manning struggling, even if Odell Beckham was there. But it was amazing to see how fragile that offense was without Odell Beckham Jr. They have no ground game whatsoever. Paul Perkins isn't scaring anybody. Vereen is a good pass patcher out of the backfield, but he's not going to be smashing anybody and moving the sticks. Pathetic in the red zone. The offense, the offense was just inept. It's only way of putting it. The defense can only do so much for that football team. And I see they're laying 5.5 points against the Detroit Lions. I got an early lean with the underdog here.
Yeah, first of all, deal your halftime now. We're seeing the Chargers mostly -0.5 with the 20.5 out there. So they're kind of putting the total right on the end game line, basically making the game price Denver 6.5 right now. It's that San Diego with the first possession that gives them the half instead of this game being a flat pick'em. So now, Gabe, here's the story. You get the ball first if you're the Chargers, but one of the key things we talked about, Denver being in a little better shape at the altitude. If the Chargers don't score on this first position of the second half, I may get in play with Denver.
Interesting. So Dave says if the Chargers don't score in the first with the first possession, jump in and lay the points with the Broncos. And yeah, I get the feeling the Broncos. My feeling is the Chargers come out, don't score. Denver scores a field goal or a touchdown, and then LA starts playing from behind. Right, that's what they do. The Chargers just they repeat themselves over and over. All right, Dave.
Wait, let's talk about the Giants a little bit. And one of the things that was
Giants and Lions. What a terrible performance. And I don't know. I assume Odell will play. He seemed to be close to playing last night, but they held him back. I think it was the prudent thing to do. I wouldn't force Odell out there in game one of the season if he's not going to be ready. But how much of a factor does Odell have if he does play next week on this football game? And are the Giants, is it an overreaction? What do you expect from the Giants offense next week?
One of the things that was real fun in the point blank threads last year, and it's one of the things you like about the point blank column, folks, is we will engage every day. You can come in and ask questions. We'll get a lot of back and forth going. And we sort of adopted this thing last year of McAdoo and his Denny's menu. And I think McAdoo might be the most overrated coach in the NFL right now, and that he was given the head coach job before he had ever proven that he could actually be an offensive coordinator. So here's one of the things we did in the Giant preview. Two key elements we talked about in that offense. One is the worst group of running backs in the NFL. But let's look at the McAdoo years. Eli Manning, when he's been the quarterback without Ben McAdoo, the average Giant rating among the 32 offenses, number 13.9, slightly above average. In the years with McAdoo, either as the OC or the head coach, they fall down to 17.3. Below average. They've actually been a worse offense in the Manning years since McAdoo has been there. And you could see yesterday, there were no particular designs that they had. There wasn't a plan that they had to attack the Giant Dallas defense. Detroit's not going to put up a lot of results. I thought it was more Carlson Palmer bad yesterday than Detroit's defense being good. So there are opportunities to make plays against the Lions. Can the Giants make them? Because when we talked about play action earlier, and keep in mind, like when Jacksonville fakes a run to Leonard Fournette, the defense freezes. Well, there's no play action with the Giants. If Eli Manning fakes a handoff to Perkins, nobody freezes anywhere. They don't respect Perkins. They don't respect Darkwa. So when you don't have play action as part of your game plan, and that opposing pass rush can tee off, that's what the Giants are going to face all year. You have to have a runner that the opposition respects. The Giants just don't have that.
Dave Morency with us. Great breakdown, Dave. It's great to have you on board here.
It's nice to be here late night again. I remember back to again, the first thought though, and guys, this was hilarious at the time. One of the first times I'm sitting here thinking, wow, you could say that on the air in Montreal.
Because you actually couldn't. I just did, Dave. You actually couldn't. I just did.
In fact, the first time we met face to face it's been about 10 years. It was in Montreal. of all places. You
I
remember
remember it. I remember it. We went to the Champ kart race, if you remember.
Yeah.
I remember the day like it was. I got a great memory for this stuff, Dave. I got a great memory. I don't know if you remember. You and I put together a parlay ticket because sports gambling was legal. Remember, we went over and we played the ticket, and we combed our minds. And at the time, you were friends with the president, I believe. I remember I was amazed. I met you, and we went into the VIP tent and strawberries and champagne and all that stuff.
And remember, though, a key part of knowing the president of ticket, we played 2 parlay tickets. One was the pure racing parlay.
Yeah, and we did well, right? We did well with the racing props.
We won the racing parlay.
And we lost. Remember, Roger Clemens was pitching.
Well, I think Clemens got beat 2-1. That cost us the sport. We had everything else on the sports.
I think it was 1-0, Dave. I think my guess it was 1-0. It was the Astros at the Dodgers. I think we lost 1-0.
But the racing parlay, the racing parlays were going to be real easy. That was going to be one of the great things about being on the inside of that series. Is the racing parlay was pretty easy. But you know what? That's a nice racetrack. It doesn't get used enough.
Well, I think Formula One still. Yeah, it's a world-class track, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And you have the casino right there. Yeah, it's amazing, though. Not bad for Quebec, even in those days, Dave, for a government lottery to have Champ kart racing head-to-head matchups on their parlay cards. Pretty impressive.
And I remember taking some advice from you because the first day I went, I took the subway out there, which is a little bit convoluted. And you said, no, take the media bus. I says, well, Gabe, I don't have any media credentials. He said, just go get on the bus. and that's literally what I did. I didn't have media credentials, but I had a Champ car pass.
You had a lammy. Yeah, you put anything around your neck, you can walk in anywhere.
That's it. I could have walked on that bus anyway. That was a whole lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. These Monday nights are going to be a lot of
Yeah, we'll loosen up even more as we go. Exactly, Dave. We get used to these different formats. We've been talking on TV and radio for so long. I only realized about 20 minutes in, I could swear here if I want to.
You could do anything, but here's the nice thing is as your day unfolds, and nobody, and this is not an exaggeration, nobody works harder in media. So when I listened to your first rant of the day this morning, which to you has to feel like last week sometime.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you've actually mellowed out over the course of the day. I might be a bad influence on you.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I respect you, Dave. I'm like, you're such a linguist and, you're so well-spoken. So, I want to speak better. Like, I think Big Man on Campus might be joining me in a couple of minutes, a little bit later on. And then the F-bombs are really going to start flying. Not that I don't respect him, but, Dave, you're so well-spoken. I like to keep my language a little bit better when you're around.
Well, I will look forward to watch you guys because
you've seen me in Vegas, though. You've seen me sober and drunk in Vegas, so you've seen the differences, right? You've seen me in my belligerent moods a bit.
The truth is, there's not that much of a difference, though. That's the thing. There isn't that much of a difference. That's what we've appreciated through all the years.
Yeah, I actually get quieter when I drink. I just get angrier. I get that sort of angry. Look, it's funny. Last week when I was before I let you go, and a guy come up, and normally I'd be happy. He's like, man, I see you on TV. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I watch your videos. And, he's going off, and he's talking to me and stuff. But then he starts talking to me about fantasy football, and he starts talking to me about the media industry. Dave, I was about 2 dimes deep at that point, and I was about 22 drinks in. So I was stressed as motherfuck over at the Westgate there, watching games. People are talking to me and stuff. And, that's why, I understand why you don't leave the comfort of the country club sometimes, Dave. Because you don't want to be a jerk to people, but sometimes, you're not in a good mood. I'm losing money. I'm watching a game. Fucking the Alabama fucking, they keep getting the ball on the 7-yard line. They can't punch it in. I was about to fucking snap. So I think the guy probably thought I was an asshole, but I wasn't. I had thousands of dollars on a football game, and it wasn't going well. How the hell am I going to be in a good mood talking about fantasy football with someone?
That's one of the things that we've managed to do. We talk about the lifestyle elements is you find a way to keep yourself in the game every day. You do the little things you have to do for yourself. So we'll talk about this every Monday night. You're not just handicapping the teams, you're handicapping yourself. Because we talk about Denver and the condition they're in. If you're a bettor, you better be conditioned to get to the Super Bowl right now. You better have a layout. And you know what's great that ironically comes in the mail today? The latest John le Carré novel. And he brings back some of the George Smiley characters. So guess what I get to do? Once I'm done watching this game, I get to completely disappear into that world. do those little things for yourself inside the season. You'd be amazed the difference that they make. And I don't care if the things you do are legal or illegal. Make sure they're effective for you.
It's funny because I get caught up in that, in which, I have a guitar that I bought. I got an amp right here. And, I'm doing a record again, my old metal band. We're doing a record and stuff. But last 2 weeks, I haven't played it all because it's football. And I get that guilt thing where it's like, man, I don't have time to play guitar. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. And when I found time to start playing last month, I was playing all the time, Dave. I was happier and I was winning and my life was more balanced and stuff. You can't burn yourself out. You're right. You got to take a step back, whatever it is sometimes. Even like if it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, read something. I make a point of it. I actually, Dave, I'm kind of a political junkie as well. So at the end of the night, it's a bad time to do it because it makes me mad and stuff. But at the end of the night, I don't read a lot of sports shit. I'll be like, I've been doing shows on TV and radio and internet for the last 16 hours. I know everything that's going on in the sports world. So, I'll read about, I read an interesting piece on what it was like on Air Force One during 9/11 today. Sort of take my mind away from Trevor Siemian and stuff,
It's what you have to do. And I know it's so important to get that message out there tonight because I know a lot of people have been frustrated off the first week. Bettors come in with expectations too high. They don't realize the great. So I actually love the NFL being what it was yesterday from a betting standpoint. That lets everybody know this is exactly what you're up against.
I thought the same thing, actually. I hate to say that, but it's true. And I lost, but I was almost, and I never learned lessons, but I almost did. I really did yesterday. Realized there's no such thing, as a lock. Don't bet on too many games. Don't get caught up. It's not easy. You're right. It was a lesson learner. Dave Morency. So you can read his column in the morning. He's going to be working on it all night and reading his book after this football game. Sportsbookreview.com, right there on the front page. Dave's the best in the business. It's been great. A lot of fun, Dave. We'll be speaking in about 12 hours, 14 hours.
We'll be back at it tomorrow morning on the Fantasy Network, and we'll be back here next Monday night.
I can't wait, Dave. You're the best. Thanks for the time, man. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, good luck, everybody.
Dave Morency. Bravo. There's the professor, Dave Morency. Great stuff. Me and Dave go way back. Big fan of Dave. We go way back. Been a big influence on my gaming perspective. It's funny because me and Dave are like polar opposites, sort of, but we have a lot of common as well. So yeah, we've been buddies for about 15 years or so, 14, 15 years. I've been doing this 16 years. Dave came on pretty much year one, so it might have been 15, 16 years type thing. All right, so second half is underway. Denver Broncos moving to football right now. Right now they are on. I got the long field goal prop over here too. Right now they're on the the 37-yard line or so. We'll see if Big Man still wants to. I know Zach over at SBR threw an idea over at me before about collective drink and toast of the evening. I don't know if we'll be able to pull it off if everyone's on the same page after a big win. And I'd like to see a consensus, though, where you guys are on. Do we have more Charger backers? We have more Bronco backers right now. What are you guys pulling for? Now, I don't get I don't have the volume up, obviously. I don't have the volume up, obviously, in this game. But I see that Beth Mullins is doing the game. But I'm a Beth Mullins fan. Good for her. There's a hell of a lot worse broadcasters on TV than Beth Mullins. Oh, big play, Denver. Demaryius Thomas. Imagine if Demaryius Thomas had a real quarterback. If you think about Demaryius Thomas's career, Tim Tebow, Kyle Orton, Peyton Manning. Manning, a legend, but was nowhere, not a gunslinger. Demaryius Thomas, sort of forgotten about, but one of the best wide receivers in the league. The thing is, motherfucker just never really had a quarterback to throw to. Here's our boy Steve Stocci. Manning fucking sucked, Tom Marino. Oh, look at that. Look at Trevor Siemian and the moves these kids making. Peyton Manning wasn't a gunslinger at that straight stage of his career. You know, when Peyton got there, the first 2 years there, you know, before Peyton's neck started acting up again, exactly. Thomas, you know, had big numbers. Thomas is an elite wide receiver. He's just played with a lot of mediocre quarterbacks over the years. So, still a Super Bowl champion. Come on, CJ, punch that shit in there for my fantasy purposes. Ah, there's a flag on the motherfucking play. Touchdown Broncos, but there's a flag on the play. Yeah, that is true. Jazz is right. What's up, Jazz? Yeah, exactly. Hopefully Van Fob in the house. What up, Van Fob? Hopefully, yeah, Beth Mowens. They probably told her, listen, Beth, whatever you do, don't wear sandals, when you're working with Rex. Don't wear sandals. I can just picture Rex like jerking off next to her too. Like Beth Mullins looking over, Rex fucking pulling it, looking at her feet. Sorry, Beth. Sorry. 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 You know, I got a little bit of a problem here. She said, I would advise. I like Simeon's ground game here, but I'd advise against Simeon. I'd advise against Simeon fucking doing this little sticking the ball out thing. Look at him, what he does here. Dude, you can't be yeah. No sandals, Beth. I got GG. Triple G. As far as the CFL, I did well in the CFL. Touchdown. Jawan, I took the Bombers. I tweeted it the other day. Touchdown. See, this is what I said this earlier. Fowler. Holy fuck. Benny Fowler. Motherfucker, Benny Fowler. I don't have Benny Fowler in my DK line. Unbelievable. There's Phillip Rivers. Ah, gee shucks, huh? Surprised Phillip Rivers could even play tonight. You know, he does have like 8 kids. Surprise Rivers. Listen, guys, I can't play tonight's game. I got 8 kids, and I love them a lot. And, you know, I just miss them too much. I can't go all the way out to Denver and play on a Monday night. You know, I'm a father. I got 8 kids. I got to live in San Diego still. I can't be playing in Denver on a Monday night. Hey, Rivers, fuck. Why don't you take some of the fucking money we give you and use a fucking condom, fuck? I swear to God, there's going to be a food shortage and this fucking water fucking shortage in the world because of Phillip Rivers, his fucking kids. Hey, thanks for joining us, Phil, tonight, huh? I know you got a family at home. You know, no one else cares though, right? Like you. Surprise, Phil. Oh, we got to play this game in San Diego tonight. That's where my family lives. Like I said, there's 2 things that Phillip Rivers has never done in his life. Like place a bet and buy a condom. You know, Phillip Rivers has never bought a fucking box of condoms in his life. Kevin White in the house. I don't know, man. Antonio Cromartie's just got like a magic fucking dick or something. Even with a vasectomy, the dude shoots bullets. Like, you know, what can you do? What can you say? Like, you notice though, Cromartie has a bunch of kids and he's like some fucking pimp daddy thug. And, oh, he's horrible. Look at all the kids he has. Phillip Rivers has fucking kids, refuses to fucking move to his fucking city where the football team plays, and the guy's father of the fucking year. Like I said, it bothers me. I would have told Rivers, fucking listen, we all have fucking families, all right? But we all don't fucking cry about it every fucking day. Shut the fuck up. Get a fucking condo in LA. Get fucking on Skype. I can talk to big man on campus in Philadelphia. Oh, I can't do this show, man. Big man's in Philadelphia. It's too far. It's too far. It took him 3. Yeah, exactly. Cromartie's had different kids with each different women, which, you know what that makes him? As opposed to Phillip Rivers? Less boring. Fuck, if I had 9 kids, fuck, at least I could say, yeah, well, at least I did 9 hot chicks, fuck. Anyways. Is Phillip Rivers really 6 of 12 passing? Do I remember the NFL strike? Yeah, I do. I remember the replacement players, yeah. Jump off me, too. Jump off a fucking bridge. I don't want 9 fucking plants, let alone 9 fucking cats. All right, so we haven't taken a break yet this evening. It's been 2 hours and 4 minutes of Dave Malinsky, knowledge, and now a couple of bad jokes by me. Now, you know, we're only supposed to be on till 12 here. I thought we'd be a little bit later on in the game. We'll take it by year. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes, but let's take a quick break. We'll see if big man on campus is going to step up and in. I've got a couple of things I want to go over anyways. We'll keep you up to date in this football game. We'll get caught up to date for you prop bettors as far as the stats are concerned with this game. And as far as the number, right now, the Denver Broncos lead 21-7. 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play. They are 13.5-point favorites. In-game is 13.5. Over-under is 44.5. This number feels a little bit low. They're already at 28 right now. The question is, can Denver do anything? And they're on a 3rd and 18 situation here. Phillip Rivers back to pass, 3rd and 18. Dumps it off. They get a little real estate back, but wheels are falling off. I'm on the right side with the Denver Broncos here. Should have put both the Broncos and the motherfucking Vikings in the super contest. Better than nothing. We do have the Broncos. Twix! They were all Twix. It was a setup. Yes, sir. It is a Champ Bailey jersey. I don't have an NFL jersey of a player that's like Kurt. All right, so listen, we'll take our first break of the evening. Yeah, great ball player, huh? Great football player, Champ Bailey. I'm a big fan. The best jersey in the NFL? I think the Raiders probably have the coolest jersey, personally. Off the top of my head, listen, Cam Stewart called this on Red Heat and Rage Radio tonight. He was saying, watch, everybody thinks this game's going to go under. It's going to go over. That was the best. I saw Joe DiMaggio. See, even my boy Stucci. What up, Stucci? Oh, yeah. My favorite, I would say that too. Currently, I was thinking of current, but yeah, all time, I'd have to say the baby blue Warren Moon jersey, the baby blue Houston Oilers jersey. I got a Warren Moon one. Yeah, I think the Dodgers should win tonight. Finally. They're minus 210, though. All right, guys, so we'll take our first break of the night. We'll shoot the shit on the other side here. We'll see if Big Man on Campus is still going to join us. He seems to be AWOL right now. He's probably over at Nino's Pizza. Let's give you some copyright-free rock. Yeah, like if you wonder, like the music we play, I was in a band, so I can play my stuff actually. But if we played a Journey song or something right now, then the YouTube, we could play it now. But the thing is, YouTube would flag us for copyright infringement. They would pull the video, and then people couldn't watch the replay. So if you're wondering why we can't play brand name rock music, that is the reason. we think we are? Like this whole world is ours. Building up so we can tear it apart. Who do we think we are? Like this whole world is ours. I'll be silent while you tear it apart. So sick and tired of waiting. I don't have the time or the If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home. I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to this world that has been fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the burn now. But when I started to see through that, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes down, to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I can try to leave. I'll be tonight, if I accept tonight, but don't have the time to find. If I work tonight, I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm no place to go, no one can see you. I can see my life is crap. I have to see them too. I just live into my world, far from the pain, the feel. Was not a reach of the fire. Was not a way long start now. When I start to see those I'm thinking for help, thinking for help. Just need to open my eyes now, to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I can try to leave my beat tonight. All right, the Denver Broncos. 3rd and goal right now. Big possession for total bettors here. Don't want to get called, caught in the field goal fest that has been the 2017 NFL season thus far. NFL 2017 field goal fest. Simeon back to pass. Incomplete. Incomplete. And we're going to have a field goal attempt coming up here. 21-7, 3 seconds remaining. Denver's got a chip shot field goal here. Simeon just didn't give him enough room to work with. No, I didn't get it in. I don't know. I'd like to see that again. I'd like to see that again, actually. But didn't get it in. 21-7, whatever. We're on the Denver Broncos. I've got this teased, actually. I teased the over of the Viking game and the over of this game. So I need over 35. I would have liked a touchdown right there. 20-yard, what is that? 20-yard field goal attempt. 24-7. We'll get you an in-game number in a second here. I told you the big man on campus wanted to vent. He wanted to vent some rage. And, of course, this is the late night anger management class. So what better form to do it? So they got a horse on the field now. they got a horse on the field now. So I told you earlier, big man on campus is going to join. Great stuff with Dave Malinsky. And I said, big man, I sent him a DM on Twitter. He wasn't around. And I said, hey, he's probably going to get a pizza, man. He's going down to Nino's to pick up another pie. But big man on campus steps up and joins us right now. What's going on, big man?
What's up, cuz? How you doing?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for joining me here in the late night hours. So,
sorry I wasn't available. I had to drop off a brick of heroin. I was busy. I had to go drop it off somebody. They were busy. They needed something big. I had to go make a move. I had to make money somehow, But hey, I got Denver, so that's looking good.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you don't smoke weed, so you weren't going to meet the man, right? So, but no, I don't know. I don't ask questions.
Never get high on your own supply, Gabe. Come on.
That's the thing. You're a smart man. You're a smart man, and that's the thing. I should do the same thing. It's hard not to bet on sports when you host a bunch of sports betting shows, isn't it?
Right. That's one thing I do get high on. Good point.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard not to.
No, you're totally right.
We had a good time last night. It's too bad it was such a shitty football game, but good time last night with the Betcast. Next week with the Falcons and the Packers should be some fireworks.
Here's hoping it's a better game. I mean, it wasn't easy. I want to tell everyone it's not easy. And Gabe, I love. He's one of my favorite people. But even with Gabe, it is very difficult to come on here and try to keep people busy for 3 hours when we could probably go out there and score points over them. It was really tough, but it was fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Going into the game, I was in a bad mood last night too. I lost a lot of money yesterday. My super contest team picks sucked, and I was like, "Oh fuck, really? I gotta fucking watch this fucking game on the internet right now? You got to be fucking kidding me!" And I was thinking, like, I just thought about it. I was like, man, during the course of a regular game, if I was just doing this alone, I'd probably fall asleep. I'd take a nap, I'd just I'd do whatever. I'd be like, man, what a shitty fucking day this was. I was like, man, it's going to be torture. I got to watch a football game online right now. But, yeah, it was a pleasure hanging with you. And I'm going to tell you, the 3.5 hours flew by. We were on for longer in the game, man. It was crazy last night. Time flew by.
Yeah, it definitely did. It was fun, though. It's fun to kind of chat with other people. It was a great chat. We had a lot of good people in there. Sorry. Oh, Ace Farmer's leaving because I'm on. Go fuck yourself, Ace Farmer.
Yeah, what's the deal? You and Ace Farmer have a history?
No, that's Joe Marino. They're probably the same person. Wouldn't be fucking Joe Marino. He's on every chat in here. Go leave then. What the fuck do I care?
Yeah, obvious. Come on, Ace. Big man on campus is the man. That's why he's the big man on campus.
They hate me. They hate me. I'm the worst gambler in the world.
Dude, look at this. I got 14 thumbs down somehow tonight. That's the most I've ever gotten.
And we all know who committed those. It's all him and his multiple profiles. So
I do have a troller that I post a video on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, this motherfucker's consistent. He gives a thumbs down within about 30 seconds of it being out.
Sure.
Like, you know, he doesn't even get a chance to watch the video, and he's got a thumbs down.
You know what's funny, Gabe? Gabe, it's amazing because I love the haters. I love them. They make me laugh so hard. I'm definitely hateable. You're so right. And I love being hateable because for all the people that hate me, you all would trade lives with me. You definitely would. I'm not married. I have no kids. I do whatever the fuck I want. I eat great, as you can see. I got great hair. What the fuck wouldn't you want to be without?
Easy with the hair. Easy with the hair.
Other than okay, I'm sorry with the hair. You're right. Okay, I have you know, come on. I mean, you guys are looking for attention. You got 100 followers. You're looking to get attention. You know, James. Thanks for coming in today, giving Gabe a listen. Though we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always look at it like that way too. I don't give a fuck, man. Whether they like you, like us, hate us. I don't give a shit. They're the one watching us.
Take a look at the camera right now. That's what I think of you. Take a look at the camera. There you go. have a good night. But Gabe, I'm excited because we're doing another.
I get it. Sorry, big man, but I get it on the Fantasy Sports Network. I get people. They're like, I'm going to unsubscribe to this channel. I fucking hate this guy. And I always respond to them. I go on. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're going to unsubscribe. You're going to stop watching a fucking video that you watch for free. Yeah, right. I'm sure my boss is fucking losing sleep over it tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to lose tons of sleep that you don't like the show tonight. Oh, no. What are we going to do? We're never going to get our market share back because you don't like the show. By the way, James, I said this earlier, just to keep this in mind, I might be fat or bigger than you, but I'll steal your motherfucking girl if she came by me. Steal girl, that's what they call me. But
big man on campus, man. The BMOC is big man. You know, the C doesn't stand for campus. Stands for cock.
Oh yeah, big man of cock. That's exactly right. But
that's what the C stands for, motherfuckers. It ain't campus. It's big cock.
You're the best, Gabe. Hey, listen, I want to say good call though. You got a good number on you're over. I pushed, unfortunately, earlier, but Denver's looking great. I have them at 2.5. Gabe, you finally got one. All that complaining last night, you finally got one.
Yeah, a little bit of luck actually tonight. I don't know if you noticed, but
hey, by the way, Gabe,
got the late points with the teaser. I was only asking for the teaser.
Wait a second, Gabe. Hold on a second.
You can blame Jazz. What's that?
I can't be big man on cock. What do you mean?
No, that was Zach, man. I told you, Zach's a Backstreet boy.
Zach
that was Zach's fucking.
Zach, you're thinking in the gutter, dude. You're thinking in the gutter, dude.
Yeah, I said, yeah, exactly. I said you're a big man, and including probably a big cock, and now Zach's taking it down a hole. Yeah, that's another. Yeah. Zach will do anything for hits, basically. Like he doesn't care. Like seriously, Zach doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. If you told Zach, listen, man, we're going to get fucking 2 million hits. We're going to talk about gay porn all night. He'd be like, all right. Just make sure you get the fucking You-Wager banner up.
Any clickbait. Zach loves the clickbait.
He does. Yeah, exactly. He's ruthless. He doesn't care, man. It's funny. I worked at a TV network once. Well, I still do, but I'll see for how long. But we're in a network once, and a guy actually had the first gay ever fucking all gay network. It was a gay porn station. All right.
Sure.
It was fucking hilarious. So in Master Control, you had all these sporting events on. It was at the Score Television Network. You had all these sporting events on.
I know where this story's going.
Yeah, but honestly, so you had to monitor one of the channels. So it was like gay fucking porn. And people would hate it. They're like, yeah, I got to do fucking closed captioning for the gay porn channel. So I never forget the guy told me, I got a complaint once from like the government. Somebody complained about something I said on the air. And I said a lot of worse things on the air, but I said I would rather perform oral sex on Rosie O'Donnell than watch the NHL award show. So I said that on TV, and we got a complaint and stuff. And I got called in, the owner and shit. And I thought I was getting shit and stuff, but he's sitting there and he looks at me. He goes, I was wondering, he goes, I'm surprised it took so long, but we finally got our first federal official complaint about you. And I'm like, yeah, about what? And he goes, wow, something about you and oral sex and Rosie O'Donnell. And right away, the guy starts telling me, he goes, I'm sure it was a fucking lesbian that complained. And he starts telling me, he's like, I own that gay network. I don't know if you know that. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. He goes, you know why I sold it? He goes, I got so many fucking complaints. He goes, he starts telling me, he's like, no one complains like lesbians do, Gabe. He goes, I'm sure it was a lesbian who complained, and don't worry, I'll handle it. I've dealt with them before. So it turned out it wasn't a lesbian. It was a father, a sports fan, who was watching with his 9-year-old son. And I guess he was disgusted that I used the word oral sex, the words oral sex. And, you know, he had to describe to his son. His son asked him, I'm like, you know, I could have said fucking eat her out or blow me, fuck. You know what I mean? I said oral sex. You know, like the same shit in the super contest. Get this, big man.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Super contest, they wouldn't let us enter a team called Stripper Ripper.
Now this is in the same city where you could do literally anything.
Prostitution's legal, and we can't call a team Stripper Ripper.
Yeah, well, that's too much PC there. But I got to ask, Gabe, this channel, it was a TV channel or a radio? Well,
yeah, it was TV.
What a stop by Denver! Wow.
Well, 24/7. I knew the Broncos are coming to play tonight. The line was too low, man. You know, the Broncos laying 3 Mile High Monday night here, opening, coming with a chip on their shoulder. I didn't understand. I think the Chargers are overhyped. And I tell you what, there's an opening number now. This Charger team's laying 4 to the Dolphins. Would you do that?
Well, I mean, Miami's probably already in LA. I think I heard Dave say that. I'm skeptical. I don't want to back a team that hasn't played yet. You know?
It's the thing. It's, you know, and for the record, yeah, I know. I didn't come up with Stripper Ripper, Vig Simon. It wasn't my idea, right? It wasn't.
Well, Vig actually made a pretty good point earlier. He said Trump would do well in Canada. It's a very authoritative place, really compared to most places in the United States. Yeah, it seems like in Canada it's pretty free. You can do whatever you want. Like.
Who would do well here? Who would do well in Canada?
Donald Trump.
No, Trump wouldn't do well here in Canada. No. And let's not get into politics, but no, he wouldn't do well at all. No, you know the fuck face Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank, the bald guy?
Yeah, you don't like him?
No, I don't like him. And
he's
Canadian. He's from Montreal. I'm from Montreal. You know, we're from the same great Montrealers. Me, Kevin O'Leary, Celine Dion, and Captain Kirk.
Wow, good group of people there.
Captain Kirk is from Montreal. I went to the same high school as Captain Kirk. No, but yeah. Anyways, so Kevin O'Leary, he's a wannabe Donald Trump, right? And
yeah, sure.
He wanted to run for office here in Canada. Man, he couldn't get a first fucking down. No, Canada is like a liberal fucking pussified country, big man. You know, Donald Trump wouldn't do well here. That shit doesn't work. The only guy that gets away with that shit, he's a lot like Donald Trump, is Don Cherry. You know who Don Cherry is?
Yeah, that guy that wears those weird like blazers and shit. I don't watch hockey. I couldn't tell you shit about it, but I do. Actually, you know what? I do know one thing. Ty Domi, he was Albanian, and I do know him because he was
you and the Albanians. Yeah, Ty Domi, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I remember when he jumped into the penalty box in Philly. I remember that he grabbed the guy and pulled him into the box. I remember that. But yeah, no, I'm excited about
the bet on hockey.
We're kind of doing a bet.
Do you bet on hockey?
Never. No. I might have once. Maybe
you ever go to once or twice?
I have. I went to a Flyers game this past year. It's cool. I'm not a big hockey guy just because I never got into it, but I bet on it once or twice in my life. But yeah, I've been to them. They're pretty cool. Pretty fun. I've been to every other game like thousands of times, but I'm a basketball guy, Gabe. You know, I'm a basketball guy, so I like the basketball in general.
Yeah, people are asking me if I'm a hockey guy. Yeah, I played hockey growing up. For the record, guys, yeah, I played hockey. I'm from Montreal, so of course I fucking played hockey. My grandfather played for the Montreal Canadiens in Team Canada in the Olympics.
Yeah, I heard, Gabe, you were quite the hockey player when you were younger. Is that true?
No, I was all right. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was one of those guys that could have made it and shit. I could have played college hockey, but I had bad grades, and I dropped out, and I joined a metal band, and I was like a fucking teenage drug-dealing hustler. But my last crack, I could have played pro hockey in England in a crap ass.
Yeah, according to your Wikipedia page, you played minor league hockey and were on your way to England to play professionally, but you chose a career in entertainment, dropping out of school to join a rock metal band called Homicide.
It chose a career in entertainment. Yeah, I chose it. All right. It chose me, man. It chose me. But yeah, no, I wasn't. Listen, man, I'm from Montreal, dude, and I was a goalie. And it's sort of being a goalie in Montreal is a lot like it's a lot like being a quarterback in Texas. All right. Right. I was good for my little district and shit.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But
it's like playing soccer in Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a difference of I was pretty good. Like, honestly, could I make the NHL? Maybe wow. If I didn't but if I didn't start smoking fucking weed and like, you know, partying. And see, my father was like a rocker hustler dude, and my mother's side was my grandfather that was really straight. My uncle played with Wayne Gretzky and shit too. So long, I don't want to talk about myself all night, but anyways,
I got to ask you, Gabe, about your Wikipedia page. What would be the odds that Ian Cameron created your Wikipedia page? I would have to say it's definitely. He's definitely the favorite.
Nicer. My Wikipedia page would be nicer. You know what's funny? I don't even know what's on my Wikipedia page. I have no fucking clue. I haven't done it. I read some. There's a few things I've seen in there that I'm like, man, I'd like to edit that. I don't even know if I can edit it. I don't even know how that shit works. So I just live with it. I don't give a shit. Fuck. But it's funny because people always tell me, man, I read some fucked up shit about you on the internet. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So don't believe it. It's not all true, you know? Not all.
These people, Gabe, these people are on point on your Wikipedia page. They're even, they're updating your shit quickly here. Whoa.
Are they really? Yeah.
Yeah. It says you do multiple shows on the Fantasy Sports Network, including Game Time Decision, which includes bets and DraftKings picks, and Morency Unfiltered. In August of 2017, he began doing content on SBR Forum, a subsidiary of Costa Rican Sportsbook News and Information Company. Jeez, he's also featured on Sunday for NFL commentary with Donnie Rightside and Jeff, the big man on campus native. How about that? Hey, Ian Cameron's on the ball with this shit.
See, I'm making you a star already, big man. You do a couple of hits with me.
I can't believe it.
Wikipedia now and shit.
I can't believe it. Now when people search me on Google, I'll be affiliated with you. How about that? That's great.
You know what's funny too? Some people get freaked out. They're like, "You have a Wikipedia page?" Like, oh, like it's. I'm like, yeah, I guess. Fuck. I guess. Great. I guess so. So Steven Stucci in the house, class act. We met Stucci. We're gonna get Stucci on one of these Google Hangouts here soon too. One of these nights, maybe we'll do it later in the week. But I told Stucci, you got to come up here. You too, big man. If you're allowed into the country.
October 1st, I will be able.
All right, there you go. I invited Stucci up. Stucci's a big hockey guy. He's down there in Minneapolis or the St. Paul area in Minnesota. Hockey season right around the corner, and I do bet hockey, guys. Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, is a big-time hockey guy. He bets hockey. I'm like Jeff. I'm more of a basketball guy. Like I'm a big Raptor fan, man. I love the Raptors.
Are you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I like certain teams, but the Raptors I really like. Like I get pissed off. Like I want to punch people when they talk shit about them, type shit. You know what I mean?
I'm a Sixer fan. You can talk shit about. Are you a big Bills fan like you're a Raptors or no?
Yeah. I've been a Bills fan since 77, 78. You know, the Raptors have only been around for 20 plus years, right? So I was a Knicks fan before. And, the Knicks are just so fucking bad, man. And I was more of a fan of all the players and shit. I'm a big college guy like you, so I'm a big –
yeah, that's my big thing. But that's
I love Kawhi Leonard at San Diego State, so I'm a big fan of his now. You know what I mean? And the Spurs.
Well, you know what's great about Kawhi Leonard? When I was in high school, I had my best friend. He went to San Diego State for his undergrad, and I went out there several times and saw Kawhi Leonard play in college at San Diego State with Steve Fisher, and I remember I saw him play with Jimmer Fredette. Great stuff. I mean, that's what's so amazing about Kawhi Leonard, Gabe. I mean, he coming out of college, he was a good prospect, but he was like a mid first round pick. And I got to tell you, I don't know that we've seen in the NBA a player that worked harder and got better in a short amount of time like Kawhi Leonard did. It's just amazing. Worked. I mean, coming out of San Diego State, he didn't have a jump shot, wasn't a great foul shooter. He had big hands. He played great defense, but the player he's been built into is just amazing.
I saw it. I'd be a good basketball scout. I really would be. Yeah. I saw it with this kid, and I think is the next kid is the kid out of Kansas. Very Kawhi Leonard.
Josh Jackson. No, I agree. I think he's at worst. I think he's Iguodala, but I think at his best, he's Kawhi. I mean, his defense. He was the best defender coming out this year. And
he's got that intensity. Exactly.
I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Michael Porter coming out of the draft, or he's a high schooler going into Missouri this year. Michael Porter and the kid going to Duke, Bagley. I'm a big basketball recruiting guy, Gabe. I go and watch a lot of these kids in showcases and things like that. This class coming in this year is really impressive. Really.
Hey, check out this kid too. He's going to be coming into college. Actually, I know about you. I agree with you when your players there. Check out the Canadian kid, the Barrett.
RJ Barrett. Yeah.
RJ Barrett. This kid's a motherfucking baller. Chargers moving to football right now. They're on the 20-yard line. There's about 10 minutes left in this football game. 9 minutes and 59 seconds. It's 24-7 right now.
Got to score quick here.
In-game number. Denver Broncos minus 10.5, over under 41.5 right now. I've got a teaser over 35, so I'm just hoping. And the sad thing is they could kick a field goal here if they have to, because they're down by 17. And man, there's been a lot of fucking field goals so far. So, I got to tell you, my main man, Jazz. Is Jazz still in the chat here?
Yeah, I just seen him. Yeah,
all right, so Jazz was talking on Twitter. You mushed the fucking total, Jazz. I'm glad you did, though, because I saw him tweet you about, we got this, the Vikings and the Saints game.
Oh, yeah, he did. That's him that did that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he did. He said that. He said, and then he took it back like 2 minutes later. It's like, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing worse in this business than people that prematurely say game's over when it's not. Like, and I'm not talking about like a minute left or something or 2 minutes left. I'm talking about like 9 minutes left and you need like 14 points. I don't know if people watched, football or basketball, but crazier things have happened. I mean,
he says he wasn't trying to mush it. He was trying to be positive. And Jazz isn't a mush. He thinks negatively. So
but dude, you're just in gambling speak. You're being an Eddie Mush. You're ripping the ticket up because you can't win. I mean, that's what that does. It puts the hex on the bet, man. That's grade A mush right there. But I love you, Jazz. I didn't know that was you. Either way, though.
Yeah, Jazz is a good guy. You guys will never meet because you can't get in here and you can't get in there.
I'll be there soon.
Phillip Rivers back to pass. Touchdown, Chargers. Keenan Allen. That should be a penalty. He threw the ball at the defender. Stupid play. You're losing by 17. What do you do that for? That's just stupidity. Selfishness.
Well, I'm glad they finally called it because in the first game they missed somebody. I think it was Diggs kicked the ball into the crowd, didn't call it. Last night, Cam Chancellor, I think, had an interception. He threw the ball in the crowd. They're missing a lot of these personal fouls. Good they called it finally. But that's
I don't mind. I think they should let the fans kick it in. I think they should let them throw it into the stands. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, Gabe, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, the NFL needs the footballs. I mean, they're that hard up for the football.
Yeah, I know. You ever go down to a Philadelphia Soul Arena football league game?
No, I have not. I've never been to the Soul or any of the. They used to have the Philadelphia Wings also. It was like an indoor soccer.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, but the Arena Football League, even they let you keep the footballs.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't understand how the Arena Football League, which has no motherfucking money, lets you keep a football, but the NFL wants the football back. I've never understood the NFL wanting the football back.
They're cheap. They need it. They have to have it.
Yeah, they're fucking right. They're cheap. I got kicked out of a Canadian football CFL game once because of that. I caught a ball. It was a playoff game at a stadium they weren't used to playing. It was on last-second notice. Again, I talked about this game with Belinsky earlier. It was an Alouette playoff game. So they had no net or anything like that. And I was in the end zone. And they were letting people keep the footballs. Fuck. All right? No one was coming in or anything. So a kid near me caught a ball, and I was having a couple of drinks, and I don't care about getting a baseball, really. But, football would be pretty cool. So, lo and behold, it fucking happened. The guy kicked an extra point, and it came right to me. I fucking caught it.
Would they come asking for the ball back?
Yeah, so I had the football for about 5 minutes. I was sitting there, and I was all happy, and I had the ball. I was enjoying myself. And the guy comes up to me, and he's like, we need the ball back. And I said, what do you mean you need the ball back? I said, I'm not giving you the ball back. I said, you're letting everyone else keep the ball. Why do you need the ball back for me? And he goes, just give us the ball. And then the guy tells me, he goes, well, if you don't give us the ball back, you have to leave. It's your choice. He goes, you can either leave and keep the ball, or you can stay and give us the ball back. So I told the guy, all right, go fuck yourself. And there was a sports bar right near there. and there was a bunch of NFL games on. So I was like, I don't give a shit. Fuck, I'll leave with the ball. So I leave with the ball, and then I see like 6 fucking goons in yellow security jackets coming at me. So I start walking fast, and I got the ball. I'm sort of holding like a running back. So, I'm going up. I'm trying to get up the stairs and get away from them, but they fucking got me and shit. And, they start trying to pull the ball away from me, and I'm hanging on to the ball and shit. And then they called over, like, management from the Alouettes came over to me, and they're like, listen, we let people keep the balls at first, but we didn't realize. And then they admitted they were out of footballs. They said, we only have like 3 footballs left, right now, and it's only the third quarter. And they said, give us the ball, and we're going to give you some stuff. So they gave me like a fucking flag and a bunch of like stupid like hat type things, some hat and a stupid pennant flag thing, right? But it was a Montreal Alouette flag thing. So they gave it to me, and I was all pissed off, and I said, fuck you. And everyone in the stadium's watching. I made a big scene. So everyone's watching, and I have the Alouette flag, but I am an Alouette fan, but I threw the flag on the field, fuck. So I said, fuck you and your flag, and I fucking threw the flag and the pennant and shit. Then I got turfed out of the stadium. Everyone was booing me and shit. And there's why I caught a football at a game once.
You actually made out better just by doing that. You got a little bit more gear.
I've got a great wrestling story if you guys ever want to hear it one night. I won't tell it now, but it's classic.
That's great. You got all sorts of stories. You've been around the world. It's been great.
I got attacked by Billy Gunn, the wrestler, once, but we'll save that for like a Friday night.
I got to talk about this pathetic Saints defense.
Yeah, that's why you want to come on. So just quickly for the record, total's 44.5 right now. So basically, will there be another touchdown in this game? Because they're at 38 points right now. The total is 44.5. What do you think, big man? Will there be another touchdown in this football game?
Yeah, I think there's going to be. I've been pretty much on the last day or two with some of these calls.
I think there will be too.
I think there's going to be.
Maybe a backdoor San Diego.
Yeah, why wouldn't there? I mean, they're up 10. I mean, I think Denver might score again personally. But
Denver are minus 9.5 right now, guys. But there's no value.
Actually, you know what? I'm betting that right now. If I can get the book, I
just clicked over 44.5, and you know what? It's minus 125 to the under. It's minus 105 to the over too.
I'm betting that right now. I'm rocking with you, Gabe. We rocked last night. I rocked with the under last night. Rocking with the live over today.
Fucking rain delay in San Francisco, huh? With the Dodgers and the Giants.
Well, the Dodgers might get a called game then. They might actually.
Yeah, they're not going to lose. You're right. At least the Dodgers aren't going to lose tonight.
All right, 44.5 minus 107. Rick, let's lock it up. Lock it up. All right, I'm in.
All right, good stuff. You're in. Okay, so earlier in the night, you were like, man, if you've got time on the show, I want to fucking freak and vent about this, about the Saints. So what's the problem? What do you got?
No, but you're so fucking pathetic. I mean, how many fucking times are we going to allow the same fucking – I mean, Adam Thielen burnt you all fucking night. And all we heard in the offseason was they're an improved defense. They're better. They're doing better. I mean, you fucking gave up 470 yards, 341 through the air. I mean, Sam Bradford just shit on you all game. I'm going to tell you right now, Tom Brady's going to throw for 500 yards next week. Off a loss against that shit defense. And you know what's a shame, Gabe? They weren't that bad against the run, I thought. I mean, for the most part. Dalvin Cook kind of got loose late in garbage time. But, I mean, when will this team learn? And it's a shame because even with bringing in draft picks, they do everything to improve this pass defense, and they can't do it. Sam Bradford should never, ever throw for that many yards against you. Never.
You know, you're right. And this is one of the reasons why I ended up taking the Vikings this evening because of the overreaction to this. Everybody came in, they're going to be much improved. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. You know, whatever, man. They brought in kid Lattimore. He's 21 years old. You know, like what the fuck's a 21-year-old kid going to do? He's really going to change the entire culture?
Go. Gabe, we're set up here, boys. Come on.
Oh, there it is. I look away for a second. We got a turnover. All right, that'll help our 44.
Yes, let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
That's what we got a fumble here.
Broncos are choking. My -3 doesn't look very good right now. Or 2.5. My -2.5 doesn't look good.
That's a fucking good point, man. We're a fucking San Diego touchdown away from being in a push here.
I have 2.5. I got it early. I got
today, 3 in the contest, and And you know what? I missed kickoff because I had Dave Malinsky on earlier. So I missed the initial kickoff, and I ended up by betting the Broncos minus 130. The Broncos didn't get a first down on their first series, and it went to 130 on the money line. So I snagged that. We'll see what happens here. Official review coming up. That was Jamal Charles. I actually have a prop with Jamal Charles total yards in this football game tonight. Oh, shit. And he just fumbles now. Fuck. I'm so close, big man. I got a prop. Total Russian receiving yards. Jamal Charles. Over under 39.5 yards. Motherfucker's at 36 right now.
No, he's at 40.
Is he?
10 attempts, 40 yards. Yeah. According to ESPN.com, he's at 40.
I'm on CBS. I got
12 attempts, 40. No, I got 12 for 40, buddy.
Fucking CBS, fucking slow-ass old network. Let me get this. That's the thing when you bet on, I tell you, man, you bet on these props, dude. You're right. You got to look at different websites. They have different stats. It's fucking frustrating.
Listen, Gabe, I'm going to give you. You have a smartphone. You got to get this app, Gabe. Sports Action, it's called. It's a great app, man. Great for scores.
I got scores now. I'm just looking for prop. Yeah, boom, we got it. You're right. With that carry, he fumbled, but we got it over the number with that carry by a half a yard. Like you said, everybody's
good luck, buddy. Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Half a fucking yard.
And we got a fumble. We got Phillip Rivers driving for the over. How about this? This is where you come to cash fucking tickets. You come on the live show. You cash fucking tickets with live bets. That's what we do here at SBRforum.com. How about that, Gabe? You come on the show, you get a winner.
Exactly. It pays to watch. So you like my video today of me throwing the Bengals jersey in the
garbage can? I actually shared it with a couple of my friends locally.
Oh, my goodness. Touchdown.
Yeah. No way. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
There's our 44.5. That's the easiest, quickest money we made. It's quicker than a blackjack hand.
Binky, I wish I would have bet my whole banker on it. Fuck. That was beautiful. All right. Well, now Denver's got to wake the fuck up. Christ. What happened there in coverage?
We hit that. Boom. Nothing wrong with that. See, literally, motherfuckers watching this show. Hey, see, that's what that motherfucker got. Who was the guy? Who was it? Ace Foster.
Ace Farmer.
He leaves, and he loses money. Hey, suck on that, Ace. We just all made money.
Wow, he's trying to Gabe. He has 21 followers. He's trying to get more by attacking me. Hey, listen, come with the king. You best not miss, motherfucker. That's all I'll say. You listen, you make money. I'm sure everyone faded me because that's what they do. These three guys that fade me, they love it. Hey, suck on that, fade boy. Good luck. You made money. You should shut the fuck up and just cash like all of us.
Yeah,
let's get another knot. You want to do a live total on will the game go to overtime? That might be a good one.
Yeah, let's see exactly. You cut from the same jib here. Let's see what else they post here. They usually take it down around now, though, right?
I can get the Chargers pick them at plus 242. Not bad.
Fuck it. It almost has that feel like we're going to OT, doesn't it?
It's not a bad play. I mean, 242? Shit.
And with that touchdown, the game goes over the number, too, officially. Game's over the number. All right, see, I'm seeing right now. So, wow. So it's Denver Broncos minus 2.5, minus 240. Why the fuck would you do that? It's minus 260 on the money line. Total is 50.5. Is there going to be another touchdown in this game?
How could there not be? I mean, Denver's just going to sit on the ball for 7 minutes?
There's 7 minutes left. And you know what? The thing is, if we don't even need a touchdown. To get this 50.5, we don't need a touchdown. We get a field goal, you get to 48, it goes over 50.5. If San Diego scores, do you see what I'm saying?
I'm doing it. I mean, we're playing with house money. Fuck it.
I'm going to get in too. Let's see if we're like blackjack. We're like degenerates, man.
We're just doubling down here. Doubling down.
Put it back in. Like you said, if you get one touchdown, it goes over, or San Diego gets a field goal, it goes over this number.
Yeah,
I just got it in. Yes!
You fucking
yes! I got the bet in on time, and they pulled it, but it got in. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, what ref? Oh, no. It's against San Diego.
Damn it, man. Fuck bookmaker, man. These fucking pussies not getting a damn lineup.
I listen, bookmaker's a good book, but they're fucking in-game. They pull shit too fast, bro. They're always freezing shit.
Yeah, this fucking frozen bullshit, man. What the fuck?
Dude,
what book are you?
I got so lucky there. I got the fucking, I clicked it. I was like, boom. And as I got the bet in, he fucking let the ball go. And holy shit, we're on the 30-yard line right now. We're in field goal range. But let's get a touchdown. We need a touchdown here.
I'm glad I didn't. Fuck me. God damn it. Fucking bitches. Yeah, this is huge. This is crazy. Like, we're just betting this, and like at the first play, it's just huge plays. Amazing.
I know.
This is epic.
Take the over. Like, it's magic. Let's see if we punch it in the end zone here. And then we get a nice double little fucking bang, bang. Fucking over 44.5, over 50.5.
That's beautiful. What if they'll do 56.5? They have to do it, right? We got to do that too.
The thing is,
they'll prevent defense up to 2 touchdowns.
I know.
They'll do what the Vikings did, Gabe. I mean, and at worst, I mean, there's still 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left.
Fuck, we need a touchdown here, though. Let's just get this done here now. That's the thing. Like White Guy Video Game is talking about. I know, I'm aware, but they can still come back. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Yeah, dude, they're not. They're gonna score a touchdown here. They're at the fucking 15-yard line. They got it.
Come on, Simeon. Simeon back to pass. Oh fuck. Oh, what the fuck?
Pick.
What the fuck are you doing, ref? He wasn't down.
Yeah, his helmet came off. Plays dead, I think. I think if your helmet comes off, plays dead. Yeah, but it was hands to the face, no? Pulled his fucking helmet off. Bosa's pulling people's heads off, and that's not a fucking penalty?
It looked like it might have been his own old lineman and sort of took it off with his arm here. Look.
Bullshit. Oh, yeah, you might be right. Wow. Well, how lucky is that? How lucky is that?
I didn't notice. I didn't see the helmet because I'm like, what the fuck? He got out of that.
I thought it was Bosa.
He wasn't going down, James Fresh. His helmet came off. Now he's going down. All right, that's good because I got a long field goal prop.
That's super unlucky.
I got a long field goal prop. 45.5. Let's get this. We can exactly. Vig Simon, man, you know what I'm talking about. Vig right away. So, yeah, we don't get to 50.5. We still have time for the Chargers to come back and score. The only thing is the Chargers now, fuck, they're going to be going for a touchdown. If they score, they're going to win the fucking game.
Yeah, this is bad. They needed a touchdown there. Fuck, man. No, fuck bookmaker, man. Fuck bookmaker, man. Bitch.
I got the long field goal prop. Let's see if he can nail this one. He fucking missed. You fucking piece of shit. Fuck. Fuck.
Fuck you, Brandon McManus. Fucking making Temple look like shit. Okay. But that's, I mean, let's get it live over here. You bet the live over, right?
Yeah. So exactly. San Diego gets a field goal. Yeah, motherfucker. This game's going to go to overtime, dude.
Mm-hmm. I should have bet that will the game go to overtime prop. All right, I Chargers plus 126 right now, live line, pick them.
Holy fuck, that's crazy, man, how that money line is switching, isn't it?
Plus 135 now. Yeah, it was just like 250 like 5 minutes ago.
Plus 140, I see. Broncos minus 170. Can't believe Denver didn't get anything out of this. Dude, I have a weird bad feeling San Diego might hit a bomb for a touchdown here.
I just took Chargers live, pick them plus 135.
Boom, they're already in field goal range, essentially. I mean, this altitude, they're at the 50.
I just got it in before the freeze.
Wow, 145 plus 115 right now. What'd you get in, the Chargers?
Yeah, pick them plus 145.
I can't pull for you on this one. I got Denver on the money line.
Well, I got Denver minus 2.5. I'm kind of.
This is motherfucking unbelievable. This is going to go to overtime. You called it. It's going to go to overtime. We're going to be on here all night. I can't believe it's 1 in the morning here.
I want to tell you something. This is something I've learned. Monday night games, a lot of them go to overtime. I've learned. I mean, if you can get before the game, you can get it at like 10 or 11 to 1. That'll go to overtime. Boom!
Look, I thought he caught this. He dropped it.
He dropped it. God damn it.
This is unreal.
Oh, he's Farmer's back. You already missed the bets there, buddy. He's back.
Broncos. All night, they're dominating, and then this fucking bullshit.
Brutal. 24/7 it was. Amazing.
You know what, though? I could get my long field goal prop and the over here, over 50.5 if we get a long field goal. Because, unless it ends in a tie. All right, back to pass, Phillip Rivers. Motherfucker's going deep. Out of bounds.
You're way ahead of me. Shit, throw way ahead of bounds.
3 minutes and 49 seconds remaining. Now a big 3rd and 10. I don't like that call. I don't like that play call. You only need a field goal. You got to get another 10 yards or so. Now you put yourself in a 3rd and 10. You're in a 2-down situation.
And after that touchdown on the previous fucking drive, they're not going to allow it. Nothing's going deep.
Yeah, I didn't like that call. If I'm San Diego, I'm just doing the little dink and dunk and moving the ball down the field.
Donnie Rightside. Come on, Donnie Rightside. Let's go.
Another thing is, too, they kick a field goal now. It gives Denver opportunity to come back. Ooh, bad play call there. What the fuck? They're going to have to punt.
Dude, I hate that play call. I hate it.
That was 2 bad play calls in a row.
Christ.
You got 3rd and 10, you go sideways.
Well, Denver minus 2.5 is looking better and better. I mean, because Denver's going to get...
You have a premier elite defense like the Denver Broncos, and you think that fucking motherfucker's going to run through? What is this, college?
That play
That's like an Oregon Duck play, big man. That's like an Oregon Duck play.
These guys are, against Southern Utah, it's going to work, but against the best players in the world, you're not going to be faster than. I mean, it's too stupid. I mean, fucking Doug Peterson does that like 4 or 5 different times a game.
That Wisenhunt's the OC there.
Yeah, that's a terrible play call.
Terrible play call on the ball.
On 3rd and fucking 12.
You're in control of the game if you're San Diego. The stadium's panicking. You got momentum.
That was a terrible.
4 minutes left. You're at the 50-yard line. It's fucking 2nd and 10. Yeah, dump it off and make it 3rd and 3. Just make them bleed the clock. Make Denver panic. No. They throw a bomb out of bounds, and then they throw it sideways. Fucking, ridiculous.
And it's not like you're. I don't know what that was. I don't want to ever. That play call should be thrown the fuck out. Fucking damn it.
Now we'll see if Denver. Listen, if Denver. The thing is, with this altitude and stuff, man, you can boot it far. And if this game's in the East Coast or something like that, whatever, you got to punt from your 10-yard line. It's a problem. The other team's going to get the ball at their own 40, 45 or so. In this stadium, you can fucking drill it. You can punch it pretty much from your own 10 to their fucking 20 or so. They're 30. We'll see what happens here. But I still have a feeling there's some craziness coming up here.
We were talking about this on the right side of campus today. You would agree that 75% of the coaches in NFL have no fucking idea what they're doing, right?
Oh, yeah. They're horrible play callers. Like gamblers, I've said this for years, like clock management, in-game decisions, gamblers would do a way better job. I'm not saying I know more about football than they do, but as far as managing a game, I do.
It's every sport. Like anyone can manage a fucking baseball game. You just put players in and out. How hard's that? They still fuck it up.
I just put them in and out.
I mean, what is? I mean, honestly, Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat coach. I mean, when he had LeBron and all them, what did he really do?
I used to say that, but he actually is a pretty good coach.
What does Tyronn Lue do exactly?
Carry LeBron's bags, fuck. Stay out of his way.
It's the easiest fucking job. I mean, you get paid millions to be a fucking babysitter and make sure people are doing what they have to do.
All right. Let's see what happens here. 3rd and 3. Big play coming up. Chargers only have 1 timeout. This is the football game. Trevor Siemian back to pass. I don't like that play call either. I don't like, what the fuck was that? You got the game on the line, and that's what you do? Just fucking crank it up. Give it to CJ Anderson. Run it up the fucking middle.
It's always something with these fucking guys, man.
It's unbelievable, this shit.
We're going to overtime, I'm telling you. I know it. And then I'm sitting pretty because I have 2.5 and I have money line. So I'm feeling all right. I kind of hedged my bet a little bit.
Let's see where he punts it from.
Bookmaker's frozen still. Right.
pretty good field position if you're San Diego right now.
Yeah, with 2 minutes, 2-minute warning.
That's a good point Babano brings up. It's McCoy, former San Diego coach, that called that play. Now he's the offensive coordinator for Denver.
Something pretty.
Phillip Rivers, yeah, this game, dude, it's 1:05 in the fucking morning. Normally we're supposed to end around noon, around midnight.
We'll be on here till noon, actually.
No, I know. This fucking guy, I guarantee you this is going to overtime.
Listen.
There's no way it doesn't go to overtime.
Chargers pick plus 151 is not bad right now. Not fucking bad right now.
See, James Fresh says Chargers winning the game. Jim Rome's a douche. Half the field is dead on that play.
Jim Rome's a douche.
I met Jim Rome. He's actually a nice guy. I don't know him personally all that well, but I did a radio show at Super Bowl Media Row, and Jim Rome's fucking table was right next to ours. And he was actually pretty cool. And I poached all of Jim Rome's guests. It was the best.
So I think Trevor Siemian has to have a better play call there. Like he has the weirdest like delivery. I can't even do it. So
weird. Trevor Siemian doesn't call the play. Trevor Siemian just is told what to do. Fuck. They told Siemian roll out and try to throw the football. Stupid play. You're 3rd and 3. No, you run the fucking football, man. You're the Denver Broncos. Run the motherfucking football. I don't get that. Well, I do get it, but Stevie, have you taken a look at the college numbers? You digging into this stuff?
Yeah, I have a couple I already moved on. Actually, I can read a couple off that I've already made. I've already moved on. I'll keep them aware. I moved on. What do we have here? Over 41, Wisconsin, BYU. I think that total is a little too low. I've seen some really good things from Wisconsin. I think that's a really low total. BYU, a lot of people low on them right now offensively. When you get a total at 41 in college football, I mean, it's hard to not take a shot with it. I mentioned you last night. I did also take a shot earlier with New Mexico, plus 15. I got it at a plus 101. Obviously you're off the 2 touchdowns there. I wasn't impressed with Cozart really. I think New Mexico is going to be rare and ready to go after that loss last week. I have that. I also took over 69 UCLA Memphis. Got that one at a good price after that move. So
what do you think about Michigan Air Force game?
Well, Air Force is a little bit more. They're a little more open this year, throwing the ball a little bit more. It's in Michigan.
I just wonder. I wonder if Harbaugh sort of shows a little respect for the military academy.
Sure.
Doesn't beat them up. And also they have Big Ten play coming up the following week against Purdue.
And they don't blow people out. I mean, they're not the team they were last year. They're not blowing teams out 63-3. Air Force will sit on the ball. They're pretty efficient with it. I kind of like
a little high. I'm a Michigan fan, and just knowing Harbaugh the way I do, I can see him sort of getting out of there with an 18-point win or something. All right, Phillip Rivers, 20 of 29, 178 yards right now. I actually played an in-game prop, Rivers, minus 18.5 passing yards against Simeon, and I'm somehow losing that one. All right, they're already pretty much at midfield here once again.
Rivers hasn't had a great passing game, only 180 yards. Not great.
Are they calling this a fumble?
Marker, dude.
Are they calling it a fumble? No, they're saying he was down. All right, so here's the new kid. Twitter, is blowing up right now when they see this kid. What's this kid's name? Young Ho Koo? What's his name?
Yeah, he went to Georgia Southern. He's a good kicker. He's a really good kicker. I played at Georgia Southern. I had him on my fantasy team 2 straight years. Really good kicker.
Motherfucker's going to be under a lot of pressure in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, he's one of those kids that now you got to go for it on 4th down. Jesus Christ.
It's unbelievable. Only the Chargers. Watch. And they're going to set Phillip Rivers up in a shotgun on 4th and inches. Watch.
Yeah, as far as Baylor, I'm not ready to I don't want to bet against them right now. They're desperate. I mean, they're really desperate. Getting 2 touchdowns at that program. I mean, if I would have told you at the beginning of the year that Duke would be a 14-point favorite against Baylor, what would you tell me?
I'd say that everyone on Baylor must have fucking committed 52 rapes again, and they're all suspended.
Yeah. I mean, what would the odds be if I told you that Liberty would beat Baylor, UTSA would beat Baylor, and they'd be a 14-point underdog? Well, you would tell me to don't ever gamble again on anything, wouldn't you?
I know.
You got to go to a mental institution. You have to.
What we talked about it last night, you and I. What would the odds been if someone said which NFL team will score the most points this weekend?
Right. Yeah. No one would.
The LA Rams, 46.
Yeah. No one would have. No one would have guessed that.
4th and 1 coming up here. Well, now this is the game for real. There's only 42 seconds left.
I have some random feeling they're going to get stuffed.
Look, shotgun, 4th and 1, shotgun, like I called. Why not, guys?
Gotta love it.
Yeah, they just overcomplicate it. Make it more difficult.
Let's make it a 5-yard play instead of a 1-yard play. Audible.
He gets it, but they eat up a lot of – they don't have a lot of time here right now. Clock is ticking. Get the fuck up. Look at the lack of sense of urgency. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, they're
Hurry
sitting on
the
them.
fuck up. Pretty not too bad. They saved it down by not spiking it. Oh. And a flag.
Pass interference.
And a flag.
Boom. Come on. I want to see overtime. I want to stay on a little bit longer. Come on. Zach, you got to stay on a little bit longer, buddy. Pass interference. Defense. You ready to get off on, Gabe? You're tired.
I'm all right. Hey, listen, I'd be pacing, bitching on Twitter about the game anyway.
Gabe, honestly, I got a real question for you. Honestly, if SBR said, listen, Gabe, you have free reign, you can stay on as long as you want, how long would you stay on tonight?
Well, put it this way. Well, I got to tape a TV show in the morning, so it's relentless. I got a TV radio show, 2 TV shows and a radio show tomorrow,
right.
plus the late night show again. So it's a little bit different, but put it in context. On Saturday nights, this year, I was doing, my sports rage on Patreon, right? Paid subscription. I sent you a link. You were in the chat the other night.
Yeah, I was in. It was fun.
Yeah, you see, it's very uncensored, and I talk politics. I just talk about whatever I want to talk about. But we talk sports too, obviously. But to put it in context, so no time, whatever. Saturday night shows, I would start at 8, and I would end anywhere from like 2 in the morning to 5 in the morning, literally. So the longest one, I went 9 hours and 38 minutes once a couple of weeks ago, actually. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. 9 straight fucking hours of a straight podcast.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
I was drunk, too. I was drinking.
Get out of bounds, you fucker. There we go.
So it's funny when you watch the show, you'll see me when it starts at 8 o'clock, and I'm not drunk. By the time it's 2 in the morning, like the content's totally different. And I'm like, let me tell you about this network I used to work at, all right? They're all fucking fuckers. I'm like, you get the real shit.
No, you do not take a shot at the end zone. I would not do that. It could be picked. It could be anything. And as far as the guy asking about
we talked about teams kicking field goals the other night when they kicked it too early. I would just kick it here. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't know
what are they going to do? What are you going to gain out of this?
What happens if
what was the point of doing that? So what? You just killed it down?
Yeah, nothing. And now if you have something stupid happens here, it's just a bad idea.
What if that was a bad snap and he fumbles the snap?
That's what I'm saying. As far as the guy,
it's bad football. It's bad decisions. It's bad football.
Yeah, we're sitting on the over here. Young Goku. All right, let's see if all that jumping in the air with the ball and kicking it. Let's see if that works here.
44-yard attempt.
44-yarder. Shouldn't miss this. I mean, should be perfect. Right down the middle, motherfucker. Yes. Let's get to overtime here, boys.
Oh, let's go to overtime.
Timeout. Fuck. That was late as fuck, that timeout. Christ.
What?
What the hell was that? What the hell? That can't. No way. What? No way.
Dude,
Rex Ryan doesn't even know.
Dude, they gave the timeout after the ball hit the fucking net.
That's bullshit. Rex Ryan just figured that out.
He missed. Blocked.
Wow. Oh, my God. That's sick. My man called a timeout after the fact, and they gave it to him. That's sick. Oh, my God. That's sick. Wow. That's really nuts, dude.
Unfucking believable.
I would like to know when the ball's being hiked when he called that timeout. Because we didn't see it.
I remember you and I talked about the college rule. I don't like. Let's see. Motherfucker got really up there, man.
Von Miller? No.
No, number 91, big fat guy.
Big Uglies.
Sorry, 996. My bad, 96.
Wow. I would like to have seen when he called that timeout because it looked like really late. Wow.
Wow, that was fucking
That's sick. That's sick. Well, Denver runs 2.5 instantly.
Wow. Well, you know what? We were bitching about lack of entertainment in the National Football League. At least we had some entertainment here, huh?
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson looks like the coach for the Chargers. Right. He looks.
Yeah, he looks. That's the way Samuel Jackson looked in that Tarantino movie.
It's funny.
Whatever. Beth Mowins is great, Johnny Kicknuts. I'm a Beth Mowins fan. She's real good, Beth Mowins.
I have to disagree. I can't stand her, and it's not because she's a woman. Her voice is kind of. Here's what she. You know what she always says? She always goes. She always gets really excited. She down to the 35. Like she's just really irritating, I think. But
no, not Pulp Fiction, Kevin. Not Pulp Fiction. The one with Tarantino. The one.
Kill Bill.
No, the Slave movie. The one that was just out recently.
12 Years a Slave.
No, not that one. I can't believe I forget the fucking name. Django Unchained. Unchained.
I never seen that. Big Man, you said you were cheering for you were on the Broncos, but you were cheering. Yeah, dude, because we had the over in game, dude. We said that 3 or 4 different times. We had the over in game. We hit it once and bet it over and rolled it over. That's fucking why Empire.
You know,
I like Beth.
Yeah, Beth. I think she does a good job. I like she does. Right. She's the Raiders in the preseason. I think she does a great job with college football. Yeah, you always give her the shitty fucking Purdue Northwestern game at noon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's always on like Iowa State and like Kansas.
Yeah,
with Joey Galloway.
Yeah, I know. You notice too. Who's the Heisman Trophy? Was it Andre Ward? Yeah. I swear to God, the guy's been there forever. He still gets the shittiest games. Fuck.
By the way, shout out to Joey Galloway. He said Baylor would win the Big 12 this year. Good call, pal.
You know what? That game the other night, that Boise State game that went on forever too. I swear to God, I want to kill myself with Rod fucking Gilmore. He's the worst, that guy.
Oh, like, yeah.
He's fucking
Rod Gilmore. Yeah. They have him on, like, Pacific Northwest games. Like, the games
State, the king of the obvious all the time.
Yeah.
King of the obvious. And the other night, too, we'll get out of here, but he's saying, like, oh, give Mike Leach credit for not putting Luke Falk back in. And take his helmet off. It's like putting credit. The kid's got a fucking concussion. He ain't getting back in. Like,
yeah, he kept saying, like,
why does he have his helmet on?
He goes, I don't know why Luke Falk has his helmet on. There's no way he is going back into this game.
Yeah, the kid got his helmet on because if he takes his helmet off, his head's going to explode. Fuck. That's why he's got his helmet on.
Dude, you're sorry. I forgot you were the coach.
Yeah, he's not going back in there, Gilmore. Settle down, all right? The kid's wearing his helmet, sort of like wearing a shoe. He's worried. Like, it's just like, But anyways, great stuff, big man. As always, we're going to get your partner in crime on tomorrow night, Donnie. We'll do a little sneak peek looking ahead to the Sunday NFL games, but we'll definitely catch up with you later in the week. Maybe we'll do a TV hit on the Fantasy Network later in the week. But your class act, Donnie. We'll talk about that Canelo. We got to talk about the boxing match later in the week.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Friday we'll do a little college and boxing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great fight. Definitely look forward to it. Before we go, real quick, I'll leave your listeners with a play. Champions League tomorrow. My favorite team, Celtic Football Club. They're playing PSG, arguably the best attacking team in the world. They just got Neymar and all these great players. I'm on the over 3.5. Should see plenty of goals in Scotland tomorrow. Celtic PSG over 309 or 3.5 in the Champions League. So that's what I'm on. Jump on it if you wish to opine. Thanks, Gabe, for everything. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Your class act, big man. Always a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
There's big man on campus. All right, guys, went a little long tonight. We appreciate everyone at SBR. Tomorrow we'll get back on the more of a midnight train. Well, I say that every night though, don't I? But it was a special night tonight. Football's back. Monday night doubleheader. No rest for the wicked, man. I'll be on TV in a matter of hours. Dave Malinsky's going to join us. We got Mike Cardano. Going to be kicking it, talking more football, more football. Good night of picks tonight. We did well. At least we did better than yesterday. Plus money account. We hit an in game. We lost some in games. It is what it is. But all in all, we'll take it. I didn't load up on many props in this Broncos game. We had more props in the earlier game. But thanks to Zach and everyone, Cynthia, everybody over at SPR. Support the sponsors by going over to the sports books on the site. Check me out tomorrow on the Fantasy Sports and Television Network. Dave Malinsky. We'll talk some more football and how this game ended, and maybe we'll talk a little college with Dave as well. Mark Lawrence with us later in the week. We'll get Donnie right side on the program here tomorrow night. Hey, other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours, and we'll see you motherfuckers tomorrow night. All right? May the winners be yours, guys. Later.